What hole am I coming in?
Holmes, can you hear me?
Yeah, am I in the right hole? No, I mean the sound hole. Yo, come on.
Sounds can come out of it.
You rascal. I'm gonna make this sound. I'm juggling my computer. I'm dropping it on the ground. I'm gonna make this the best sounding Podtoid I've ever done.
Recording. Life is splendid.
Is the file starting? You know how your little file pops up when it really is recording instead of like, oh, maybe I am.
I'll tell you what pops up when I'm recording with you, Jonathan Holmes.
You know, people.
My massive, hairless Winky. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special Podtoid. Everything's completely different. Like, this week, as a special treat, I'll be sexually harassing Jonathan Holmes, who is here with us. Hello.
Oh, hi. And you know, people actually just think I'm like an extremely horny gay man now. Like, I don't know why. I kind of do know why. Like, just the feeling they get from the show is leached into their perception of me. So I said something basic on Twitter, like, oh, I'm going to go bring my mom some lasagna on Sunday. People were like, you're saying lasagna, but you mean get some balls in your mouth. I'm like, no, I don't. I mean, lasagna. Why do you think I'm a horny gay man now? They're like, I don't know why I think that. I just do.
That is classic victim blaming. That's amazing.
That is your legacy now, Jim. You've made everyone convinced that Jonathan Holmes is gay.
And really, really
That
horny.
is brilliant. Again, blaming the victim, which is a popular comedic theme on Podtoid. I'm the one doing all the gay at Jonathan, and he's the one getting blamed for it.
Yeah,
so that's good.
I'm gay blamed.
Yeah, the other voice. The other voice, of course, is Hamza Aziz.
Hey, I'm still here! Yay!
Back by popular demand. It is the old gang, the classic old Podtoid gang. I don't know even why I said that. I guess I'll kick off. Right, this is part one. Now, Podtoid 200 is 2 Podtoids. Part one is this shit. Myself and Hamza and Jonathan. We'll be here for the usual allotment, talking some bollocks, and maybe talking about nice 200-y things.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe we'll watch
a clip show?
Yeah, 2/3 of the film 300. And then wank. I don't know. The other half, which will be released later this week, and I say that we'll be recording it on Sunday, so probably the Monday, is a special retro Podtoid Gaiden, which will, all things going well, because we've tried twice already, that's why it's happening so late. It was going to be ready by now. But if all things go right for once, second half of Podtoid 200 will be myself, Brad Nicholson, Anthony Birch, Aaron Lindy, Topher Cantler, and Sumit Sarkar. The original this crap Podtoid.
That's the
but
not the oldest. The oldest Podtoid would be. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hamza.
God damn it, Holmes.
I know. I just talk when you talk. That's when I decide to talk. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Hamza?
I was gonna make a joke saying how the next episode is gonna be really shitty if it's all them people, but whatever. You ruined my momentum. You ruined it.
No, you did good. It's good to sum up a joke in just a sentence sometimes. That was even funnier. No, it's a good joke. Just a sentence joke.
Do that to me.
You
always do that.
What? Tell you that you're great? Yeah. Well, you are great, Hamza. Look at all you've done. Look at how far you've come. You were one of the first guys at Podtoid, starting off a cute little guy there, and then now you're like this man with a tie on, and you wear a vest, and you're like, well, I can here I go. Yeah, you do.
Vest.
He looks hot.
Put that on your resume, Hamza. Put that on your resume. Wears a vest. Cute little guy. Wears a vest.
It's not easy. It's not easy to be
fucking
Hamza.
Good.
I couldn't do it. Yeah, man, you look awesome.
I love it because Jonathan Holmes truly means what he says. Jonathan Holmes is a man who speaks his heart and his mind and his body and his soul and his lasagna. But it always sounds like he's taking the piss. It always sounds condescending.
I'm sorry. I don't know why that
No.
is.
You know why it sounds condescending? Because everyone else at Destructoid who works for Destructoid are just assholes, so we just expect it to be trying to be mean or something. But we always forget, like, you are the nicest person on Earth.
Oh, I'm not that nice. I'm not. Thanks for saying that, though, Hamza. You know who is the nicest person on Earth, who I met on the internet on Sunday, is Jasper Byrne. Jim, you should do a show with Jasper Byrne just so you can, like, fall in love with him. He is the Tiny Tim of video game development. He's this little... It's like, oh, I guess I could make some money if I try really hard. Oh, thanks, guys. I can't believe you're giving me so much positive attention. Just, like, so freaking nice. It was tough. It was tough to even deal with him. He was great, though. Watch that. He was on Sup Holmes last Sunday, and you can watch the video and download the podcast. Sorry, I derailed us. Anyway, I was going to say before, the original Podtoid, to talk about Podtoid history, people may not know it, but it was None of Us. It was originally like Lee Alexander and that guy Nex.
No, it goes even beyond that. It goes beyond that.
How old does it go?
It predates my being on Destructoid as a staff member. Podtoid, way back when, I believe the principal players were Nex, that's Ernest Cabelli, who writes, I think, at The Escapist now. Ron Workman, who, Robert Sumer, who, and I think Nero as well. I think Nero was a principal cast.
No way, really?
I think Nero was in the very beginning, but then he eventually left it. Colette Bennett then came aboard. And then, I don't know if there was anyone else.
Tiff got in there, and then eventually it just turned into like.
Tiff got in there when Rev took over.
Yeah.
With Anthony Birch.
After
we don't know what Rev means.
When Nex left, then no, a whole bunch of people left. Then it was Nex and Lee Alexander.
And for like the first 10 episodes, they were basically flirting with each other in every episode.
Aww.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was a will they, won't they type of thing, like myself and Jonathan Holmes have. Only, of course, myself and Jonathan Holmes, it's a lot more intense, and it's more of a two-way street as well, because I've picked up the signs that Jonathan Holmes leaves me, the way he laughs, the way I imagine he shakes his little tush. I'm not there, but I'm imagining him shaking his little tush, and I reach out for it. And there's like a funny slide whistle plays, like as I reach for it, and he looks at me and goes, "Oh, you cheeky bastard!" And then some music plays, and then I pull my tie and go, "Yo!"
That's not. It's what actually happens is you just talk about how much you want to have sex with me, and I say I don't want to have sex with you.
Yeah, you say you don't want to have sex with me, but what you're really doing is getting balls in your mouth.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That's what Twitter tells me now.
What's that noise I keep hearing? I keep hearing what sounds like a rattlesnake.
I don't know. Do you still hear it now?
No.
Okay, I touched some Velcro. It might have been that.
That's going to be it. Stop touching Velcro.
Okay, I'll stop. I was nervous. I'm sorry.
We will be doing things with Velcro at a later time.
Well, E3 is what, 34 days away or something?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going.
What?
I feel too fat to get on a fat plane.
Oh, God, you asshole.
You're still, are you still exercising and stuff?
Hell yeah.
Oh, how's it going?
I don't know what that voice was.
What is wrong with you today, Jim?
Hell yeah. That's my impression of Apollo Creed.
Wow. You are kind of like Apollo Creed.
I'm gonna punch you in the face.
That would have been better, Rocky.
Take that, Rambones. That's pretty good, isn't it? I'm a master of mimicry. The man of 1,000 voices.
You do a lot of different voices, but I'm not sure if his name is Carl Weathers. I'm not sure if that's in your lexicon. Maybe it is, but it's so you're losing weight.
Jonathan, have I ever done my impersonation of you?
I think so. Max Scoville, who's also a Podtoid alum, used to do a good impersonation of me. It was like any good caricature. It was part tribute, part insult, and I thought it was great.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a really good, like, it's, if anything, my impersonation of you is 100%, no, 90% tribute, 10%, like, reverence.
Whoa.
I revere you. I hold you in the highest esteem.
It doesn't make any sense. I'm worse at everything that you're good at. So
When I see you, right, I don't see Jonathan Holmes the man. I see Xerxes in a sweater.
He's a real hunk. He works out, and he's a hero too. I'm just a tired, sort of old. I'm only going to be 40 soon.
Have you ever thought of getting a nose ring and trying to enslave the Spartans?
No, I have not. I mixed up Xerxes with the other guy, actually.
Anyway,
Xerxes is even sexier.
Do you want me to do my special episode 200 impersonation of you?
Please do, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, god damn it, I knew that was coming! No, stop!
And then I'm patting you on the head, saying, good.
That's so creepy.
Did you see the tweets that guy sent us? I meant to save it for the show this week. About me forcing you two to do deep kissing on the floor. And then me grabbing Jonathan Holmes' ankle and saying mine and dragging you towards me. And then saying something about the boy king is mine. That shit was intense, son.
I vaguely remember something, but people have been doing really good tweets about all the Avengers, like, making out and killing each other at the same time, too. So it's all kind of a blur. There's like a kind of a gay sex orgy nightmare exploding on Twitter of late. And that's all the people that I follow and who follow me for whatever reason. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't encourage.
No, I think it's great.
All of that saucy talk.
I think it's just fine.
I see the way you look at people. You love it, you tart.
Twitter, people wanted us to talk about Cabin in the Woods because I think they wanted us to have a sharp disagreement about it.
We can't, though, because everything I want to say about Cabin in the Woods firmly falls under the definition of spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't want to put a spoiler warning in the episode title or the write-up, the description, because then people won't listen. They go, well, I ain't listening to that.
Did you see it, Hamza? Cabin in the Woods?
No, I haven't.
You should go see Cabin in the Woods. It's my favourite film ever made.
Why? Is it kind of gay sex?
That was such a... What are you doing now, Hamza?
I love that was, possibly the easiest comment for me to be wittier than, but I'm drawing total blanks. That comment has to stand. That has owned me.
Yeah, wow. I actually got you.
I touched
That's
the
amazing.
Velcro again. Sorry.
I've got literally nothing to counter that with, even though it is the least witty comment ever said.
Yeah, and
I know. I didn't
no
really
spoilers, but I'm pretty sure there's not any gay sex in the movie either, which is, I don't know, could have used some of that. I won't do spoilers, but I will say that the movie, there's 20 minutes that are amazing, that are worth seeing in theaters for those 20 minutes for sure. But there's a lot of stuff that I just could pass on with the movie, unfortunately. And that happens a lot of, Phantom Menace, it's a Star Wars movie. That has 20 great minutes too, and I watched the whole thing just for the Darth Maul fights, and I like the pod racing and stuff like that. I like the Muppets. But there's a lot of stuff I'm just I could never watch that, and that would be fine. And that's how Cabin in the Woods was for me. It's a lot of stuff that I just had no use for whatsoever.
Interesting.
Yeah. I know you don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
And let me also say
Yeah.
that I was told the entire premise of the movie before I saw it. So I knew everything, basically. I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, but I knew the twist the whole time. And I was also told it's like hilarious and the actors are so likable and so charming. And I was like, no, they're not really. They're all pretty forgettable, except for a couple of guys I like. But yeah. Yeah, I guess that's all we can say unless you want to try to spoiler-free retort, Jim.
I mean, the whole film was building. Like, I mean, the quote-unquote twist isn't really a twist because it becomes literally the entire premise of the movie, but that's not the point of it. Some people were saying, oh, they revealed that too soon. That's not the point of the film. The whole film is building towards something, and I think it was an enjoyable build up there. But then when the trigger is pulled for the big conclusion, it is literally some of the best minutes of a movie I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And like I left that film thinking that movie knew exactly what I want in life and delivered it, because that's what I want real life to look like.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I agree. I would say the last half hour of the movie, I would watch that last half hour every day if people were. But the first hour I can pretty much do without. The first 5 minutes are actually great, and then I kind of get lost. And then the last half hour, good stuff.
Yeah. I think Holmes is just eating while
he's
talking.
just scraping away at his can.
Sorry, I'm done. I was eating oatmeal.
Fine choice.
Yeah, it is healthy.
It's good for you. It's filling as well. You can't eat too much, but you only need to eat a bit, and it will expand in your tum tum.
Yeah, I should eat that more often. Yeah, your little tum. Your little tum.
Pum pum pum. I feel like a woman. Da 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 da. That's how that famous Christmas carol goes.
So I feel like we need to close out the whole part of us talking about past Podtoid cast members.
Oh yeah, we started that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Podtoid history.
Yeah, it's deep.
So the cast has changed so much, and like the show went off the air for a while that, I mean, we should have been well past 200 by now, but here we are.
Yeah, 2006 it started, right?
I don't know whether we should have been past Podtoid 200 by now, or whether we should just never have picked it back up. I sometimes wonder, like, just in terms of what this could do to our respective careers and everything. There's material on here that would make me a dead man in certain countries.
We'll be okay, and I'll tell you why. Ice Cube once said something like, I'll either call you a bitch or a dirty ass hoe. And he said something along the lines of, after the date, I want to do the wild thing. You're thinking lobster? Huh, I'm talking Burger King. He said all these things, Ice Cube. And now he does Are We There Yet? His career is just totally fine. He's talked about shooting people in the face with a shotgun and, you know, smacking women in the head and having sex with them. And now he does kids' movies. Yeah. So a career can't actually be ruined, as it turns out. We can't run for politics. Like Ice Cube will never be... well, that's not true. He could be governor of something. He just can't be president. Anyone can just be governor, as it turns out. You can just have sex with whoever you want and just be a total jerk. And then just be like, no, I'll just be the governor. Okay. Yeah, they just let you do it.
Shania Twain once said that don't impress me much. Fun fact for you. There'll be another one of those next week.
Yeah, Shania fact.
Yeah. We got as far as Leon Nex hosting, which was interesting. And after that, Anthony Birch, I believe, took over.
Right.
Around that time, I guess I came on as well as a regular. I can't remember the exact order, but we picked up Aaron Lindy, who I think had been contributing on and off by then anyway. Mm-hmm. Topher Cantler, Tiff Chow, and that was, I believe, it for a while. That was interesting. We went through the Nicole Wiebe phase where we would talk about doing things to Steve Wiebe's wife.
Oh yeah,
like respecting her as an individual and being sexually attracted to her intelligence. Because that's what turns me on, is the soul. Big honking tits.
And butts. You like butts.
I do. I like Jonathan Holmes's butt, and I cannot lie. And watch me eat my pie, and I'll dance over here, and I'll dance over there, and I'll dance on Johnny's pubic hair.
That would hurt for
That's
you.
my rap, Jonathan.
If you were to dance on my pubic, just whole area, my pubic vessel.
What if you shave off the pubic first and put it on the ground?
Oh, that would be fine. Yeah. That could be what we do.
What would be even better if you put the pubic hair on bubble wrap and then dance on that?
Oh, it'd be like tap dancing, because they'll hear the cracks and they'll think, man, he's a great tap dancer like Fred Astaire, and I'll be like, more like Fred pubic hair. And then they will go, God, he does puns as well. Fuck, this man is an all-round entertainer. That reminds me, by the way, when are we going to start a rap trio?
Oh, wow, I didn't think that would ever happen. Hamza, do you like to rap? I was in a rap group for a little while, a parody rap group. Yeah. We were called Cold Hard Cash.
Cold Hard Cash? Well, this one is going to be called Cold Hard Jonathan Holmes.
So I'm cold, I've got an erection, and it's just me.
Yeah.
You're a corpse and you have rigor mortis in your dick.
That was basically, yeah. Hamza Aziz's name in it is going to be called...
Hamza Aziz. I like how you say my name.
Hamza.
Hamza. Hamza will be called, the Self-Hamza. That's fucking badass. Because nothing is more badass than self-harm.
So you hurt yourself.
Yeah, and we'll get red marker pens and we'll draw lines down his arms so they'll think he's been cutting himself. And they'll be like, well, dude, he's fucking badass. He don't give a fuck about no one. He lets his feelings out with a knife.
Whoa, Self-Hamza.
Yeah. I am going to be called Muscles.
Right.
Muscles Malloy. No, Muscles Lundgren Malloy. That's going to be my name. And Jonathan Holmes, of course, is going to be called Chicken Dinner.
But the group is called Cold Hard Jonathan Holmes.
Yeah.
But I still have a nickname?
Yeah,
and it's Chicken Dinner?
It's like They Might Be Giants. There are no actual giants in They Might Be Giants. And there's no actual Jonathan Holmes in Cold Hard Jonathan Holmes. There is just Self-Hamza.
We're actually named after the porn star Jonathan Holmes.
Oh, well, then his name was actually John, John. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's cool. That's cool.
And the band's logo will be porn star Jonathan Holmes, but with your face, Jonathan, superimposed just over the tip of his penis.
Not over his face.
No, not over his face. I'll be superimposed over his face. And Hamza will be the two little nipples. So
I can put that.
That'll be good. That will be just this composite porn man.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That'll
be the name of our first single, Composite Porn Man. And I've thought about the music video, right? Now,
when did you think of that? When did that?
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 35 seconds ago.
Tell me about this music video you thought of already.
Right. Now, bear with me, Jonathan. How much do you like your body parts?
Oh my god.
A good amount. I mean, they could be more fit, I suppose.
So you enjoy them?
I'm glad I have them. I mean, I wish they were better, but I wouldn't want to lose any of them.
Oh, no. You won't be losing any of them. It's just the fact that you enjoy them is good. So you're 50% already liking this idea.
I am?
Yeah. How much do you like worms?
I like worms. I don't love them. I don't want to eat them or...
You 100% love this idea?
My body parts. Not my body, but parts of my body and worms. Okay.
A part of your body.
A part of my body.
Basically, what would you say to me and Hamza, bending you over naked with two big trowels?
I didn't agree to this.
Basically, don't worry about it. Shoveling with garden trowels a bucket full of worms into your asshole.
I did not agree to this.
Don't worry about it. Hamza, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
That is the worst idea.
So, Hamza and I will be dressed like big baggy football jerseys and our baseball caps on backwards, and the baseball caps will have like radical and bodacious written on them respectively, so that they know we're rappers. You will be naked, apart from a baseball cap on your head which will read Wicked. You will be bent over like a bed or something, pulling your cheeks apart, right? Your legs like really distant. So that
what?
we get
I'm pulling them apart with my hands? As if I'm inviting this situation?
Yes.
Like, here we go.
I went so dizzy just then. You'll be pulling your cheeks apart. Just so that your like gasping winking hole is fully dilated.
I don't know.
Hamza and myself will have these like big metal garden trowels and a bucket of worms that's between your legs, and we'll be looking at the camera like waving our hands going, yo, fuck, your pussy, your ass, fuck your pussy and your ass and the worms, like that. And we'll be just shoving, like just scooping up these worms, like wriggling around and just cramming them into your ass. And sometimes, I mean, we might have to use our hands as well to just like thump it up there, punch the worms up your ass. All the while, of course, you know, yo, fucker, getting all the money and doing bitches. It's pretty good.
Do I rap in this rap group, or am I just basically an asshole for the video?
No, I mean, well, we'll all be rapping on the track.
Oh, okay.
In the video, you know, you won't have to... I don't want you to worry about lip syncing when you've got more important work to do.
So I'm like the Flavor Flav of the group, but instead of having a clock and a Viking helmet, I'm just a huge, just gaping asshole.
Yeah,
that gets worm shut into it.
Yeah.
And just don't talk.
Hamza, how would you feel about having your... At one point, for context, having your head under Jonathan's asshole while I like get the worms that are like just hanging out and just like waving them so they tickle your cheek.
Sometimes, Jim, I wonder how you found someone to marry you.
Yeah, it takes all kinds. This is
It took a lot of threats.
You know, hip-hop is on the verge of a big change.
Let's go back to Podtoid history.
Rap music, well, I'm closing it up. Rap music has been on the verge of a new revolution for a while. And, you know, we've had Kanye West with his innovative style of sort of...
no one man should have all that power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the next step? It probably is... two mildly brown guys and a Caucasian guy shoving worms inside of one of the brown guys' buttholes. It's probably what people have been waiting for hip hop. You know, the music of the streets, of the people. It's real. It's raw. We don't smile. We frown. We're gonna frown about those worms in my butthole.
Oh man, if I was fucking brown, we could have been called the Frowning Browns.
You can get a tan, or just, you know.
Oh,
You can do it. You can get brown. Trust me. You can get brown.
You could cover yourself in your own shit.
Then Hamza comes up. Hamza acts like we're being gross, and then he, you know, you've got it.
I don't know. I got in the moment. Shut up.
You get in the moment. Feels good.
It's all fun. We're all friends.
We're all friends shoveling worms up each other's asses.
That really is the grossest idea, by the way, Jim. That is so...
What's so gross about that?
Well, you know...
Is it the worms?
It's... I can't even... Where do you start? Having something pushed into your butt. That's a lie.
Not pushed. Troweled,
I'm sorry.
And sometimes punched just to get it.
And they're not going to stay in one piece, the worms. They're going to die, and there's going to be guts, and it's going to just be the worst. It's the grossest thing.
Hey, Jonathan.
Yeah?
So, okay, imagine this whole scenario, and then start imagining them, like, wriggling inside you.
Yeah, it's really awful. It's really
But
awesome. I've been
on
putting it
the
in.
bright side,
Internal massage for you.
like Jonathan, I don't think you are being optimistic because you're like, oh, the worms will be cut in half and that will be gross. When you cut a worm in half, they grow into 2 worms. So as we're putting them up in the arse of you, you'll be doubling your worms.
So it's a worm profit. Now,
Well, I can't think of a better investment. Isn't that what we were taught in school? Buy low, sell high. Double the worms in your ass.
I love how this has been like a 10-minute
business.
conversation.
Yeah, they too tend to go on. That is
Welcome
my
to Podtoid, by the way, Hamza.
Yeah, that's kind of how it has been happening.
I'm glad you're not protesting. That's what worries me when we bring a new person on. They'll say no, and then we'll have to force people to do things. But you're joining in. You're complicit. You're part of the blame.
And he likes that. Yeah, that's right.
I like everybody to be culpable. I like to leave a mark.
That's true. You're doing
Yeah. Okay, so Podtoid history.
Oh yeah, it's very important. It's very important.
We are making Podtoid history with great chat like that.
Well, it is a popular, from what you've told me anyway, of the numbers. I haven't asked recently, but we did go up from the Birch and Lindy years.
Oh yeah, and then we went right down. Ever since Max and Tara left, and I got worse.
Then we went right down.
We're doing okay.
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're
Just gotta crawl our way back to the top like John Rambo.
Did it really go down?
It went down a bit.
When Max and naturally Max and
But
Tara
it's coming
are great.
back up. It's coming back.
No, I think it's mostly just Tara because boobs.
Do people just want to listen to boobs? Like listen to a voice that it comes from lungs that have boobs in front of them?
Yeah,
I don't understand the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm
It's like a phone sex operator. Except she's talking about
she was great on the show. Trust me, she was very funny on the show.
I
she was
never
like
listened,
a comedy.
so I have no idea.
She was very good. She was like a comedy sniper. Like we'd all be saying a bunch of stuff and get lost, and then she would just like jump in with a really cutting, amusing observation. But boobs, huh? Yeah. People say on the Destructoid YouTube channel that I should stop making videos because of my lack of boobs, and they just want all boobs all the time. Yeah, it's a thing, boobs. Yeah. Anyway, so then Max and Tara joined us when the reboot happened. That was to kind of promote.
Hey, we're still back.
Did I skip some stuff?
Yeah, because Tiff Chow lied, and went away and said she didn't have time to do a podcast anymore, and then was doing another one somewhere else a week later. Which is fine. I literally don't blame her, because fuck us.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't want to get into it specifics, but yeah, you guys are assholes.
You on at that point, Hamza? You weren't on yet.
No, but I know of all the changes and why they happened since the beginning.
I like Tiff Chow a lot.
Yeah, she's great. She's a game designer right now.
Yeah, she's everyone in the industry loves her, and she knows everyone, and she's in it for all the right reasons, and just does it for the love of making games. And yeah, she's fantastic.
After she left, what happened? Nicholson and Samik came on.
Yeah, it was just us for a while, just Aaron and myself and Anthony and Topher. Then Samik came on, and we bullied the fuck out of him.
Yeah,
I don't regret a word of it. It was great for us. And Brad Nicholson, he'd been hired for a while. Came on, did 1 or 2 guest things. That's where we started. That's when we came up with the Brad Nicholson muscles thing.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that was started when I started dreaming up scenarios in which he was working out in a gym with Sting, the famous singer-songwriter and tantric lovemaker. And that became a bit of a thing. And then every week, even when Brad wasn't there, we were just coming up with these, like, King of the Arctic, riding elephants, using horses as skates, punching the sun, just all this fantastical stuff. And Brad really owned that. Like, he came on and just lived up to it. And
none of it was that far from the truth. I mean, he is able to, like, bench press 700 pounds or something. I've seen him just crush things.
Oh yeah, the dude's insane.
Yeah, he's incredibly strong.
He is certifiably mad, but brilliant, and he really stepped up and became that personality, and ended up sort of doing on and off hosting duties between himself and Anthony. So that was what was probably the classic era Podtoid was that. Which was fun and good, lasted a long time. We did movie commentaries, which were always fun, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, all that was fun.
How did you do those movies? How did that happen exactly?
With some amazing timing that I still don't understand how we pulled it off. We would just Skype up like normal. We would have a legally downloaded copy of whatever film we were watching, all synchronized at the same time on our own computers. Then we just 3, 2, 1 and hit play at the same time and hoped for the best.
That's pretty amazing. I'd love to. I don't think I'd be that good at that, but I'd love it if you and Max and other funny people, Hamza would be good on it, did that sort of thing. And I would join in, of course, if you'd have me. But
people have asked us to bring it back for current era Podtoid to do movie.
I bet we could sneak Max in for that kind of stuff again. And Tara, oh god, I was cracking up at E3 last year. Tara and I were watching Rollerball with Chris Klein and LL Cool J. She is hilarious. She was saying the best stuff over that movie. So we could just do Rollerball, and I can guarantee you that Tara will make it funny.
No, there we go. I mean, that's the best thing about the current generation Podtoid is before we were doing movie commentaries on strictly video game themed movies, and every time people bring it up now, it's like, I'll do Jurassic Park, just anything, just none of it game related, which I think speaks to the problem surrounding this. But anyway, we did our last Podtoid, which was a commentary of the Super Mario Brothers Bob Hoskins classic. Mm-hmm. Then went away for a very long time. Anthony went to work with Gearbox. Topher Cantler focused on his animation. Aaron Lindy, of course, works with Microsoft and whatnot. And they sort of clashed for a while. And then eventually went and did the Electric Hydra, because by that time, no one on Podtoid was a member of Destructoid.
Except for you.
Yeah, except myself. Yeah, this relic of their past haunting their dreams. So they, we did Electric Hydra. I was sort of part and parcel with that. And then for a long time, nothing happened with Podtoid. We had Brittoid come up, which Holly Bennett hosted, which was a British Destructoid podcast following on from the old Podcastle stuff that used to go on. I believe during that downtime as well, we had, was it Bit Transmission?
That's right.
With Conrad and Chad and Jonathan.
A close one. It was Conrad, Colette, and Chad was on one episode, and me.
Okay.
Yeah, we were sort of analytical podcast. We got all kind of deep and debatey. The last episode of that, we got in a really feverish debate, and I don't think we ever even posted it because we just all sounded angry. And that was in 2010, I think. That was a fun podcast, though. And now I do Sup Holmes with Conrad is the engineer on that, and I try to sneak him on every once in a while. And Colette may come on to guest on that, so it might be
nice.
Yeah, that would be a fun little reunion for us.
I think after that point too, Chad tried to bring back like a spin-off version of Retroforce Go, which was another old podcast of ours. It was first called Fingerbangcast, but iTunes let us use that name on iTunes. So we changed it to Best Podcast Ever. I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was only like 3 episodes. Chad was running it, and I think Colette and Stella Long were the other hosts, but like Chad has like a full-time day job, and it just ate up too much time for him.
Beyond full-time. He's doing like 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week a lot of the time. Yeah. Oh, Chad.
So those are all the spin-off podcasts, basically. Brittoid is still around. Becca Roberts now does the hosting duties for that.
Yeah.
Another one of our British contributors, and then after that, what happened? When did we come back? Now?
I just imagined you were snorting coke while you were saying that. It's like, and then what happened? This kind of RoboCop coke in the bathroom
coke is
scene to you. So people like cocaine. I've never done it. Seems too strong. Like make you dizzy or something. Anyway, sorry, what were we talking about?
Cocaine.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I won't do it.
Well, for a while, Podtoid was on ice. Never really thought about what we were going to do if we ever brought it back. But Nero wanted it back. And originally, it was going to be hosted by Max and Tara. They were going to be the main hosts. And no one else. I was sort of...
No, actually, no. Before that even happened, I don't know if...
Oh, yeah. I know what
there was another one where Nero was trying to make a comeback, and then it was going to be Nick Chester, a former editor-in-chief.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, you're right.
To host that. So it was going to be Nick, Dale, you, Jim, and I think Max and Tara as well?
No.
It was just me, Dale, and Nick. And
you
there
guys did a pilot of that, didn't you?
There are a couple. There's like two or three.
Yeah, I have them too.
Yeah, well, I think they're still on Nick Chester's Destructoid community blog.
Oh, that's right.
And you can download those. They were pretty fun. Nick and Dale are very quick-witted and sort of sardonic. And it was pretty cool to do it with them, but I guess time again. Like, Dale at the time was either moving to or actually at Japan at that time, living in Japan for a while. So he couldn't really commit, and Nick, of course, was a very busy man. So that, again, kind of fell apart. But Nero, of course, still wanted Podtoid back. And then it was retooled, basically, and ironically as well, given what would later happen, it was retooled ostensibly to help give Max and Tara more presence on Destructoid and, in turn, promote the Detoid show, which Destructoid produces with Rev 3. And, of course, airs on your Mondays, your Wednesdays, and your Fridays. So, I don't know why I said it like that.
Just roll with it, Jim.
Yeah.
Don't question yourself.
Force of marketing habit. But, so yeah, they were going to host it, and for a while it was kind of them, and they were going to rotate just a stable of editors as guests, and I was sort of penciled in as a quasi-regular. And then I got an email from Nero which said, Jim, can you take charge of this? Max and Tara are acting like I've asked them to build a spaceship.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I guess because obviously they'd never done a podcast, so, and there's so much bullshit to work out with Skype and finding a good recorder and everything. So I basically took over as host, and it was myself and Max and Tara, and then I'm like, well, I could do with someone to just sort of even it out, and then I brought on Jonathan Holmes, who I have always loved working with.
Aww.
We've always done very nice videos and whatnot together when we meet at events.
Yeah.
And that was it for a while. That was the Podtoid that a lot of our current listeners sort of started with. And we had many fun times. It was myself and Max going on odd concepts, such as Voldemort and Emperor Palpatine owning an opium den. You're getting Fabergé eggs.
The Lust Gurney.
The Lust Gurney.
Just the horny British fops. Yeah, it was good.
That was fun, though. And of course the Pie Guild for a royal appointment. That was basically it. It was video game discussion framed around a central ridiculous concept that we'd come up with for that week, with Tara kind of acting as this disappointed teacher, and Jonathan Holmes analysing just the shit that would come out of myself and Max's mouths. And it was a good dynamic that worked well. I enjoyed it. Tara, of course, died in a car accident on Christmas Eve. Actually, no, she sent us an email on Christmas Eve.
It was Christmas, wasn't it?
Christmas Eve. She was the Scrooge Ebenezer's of podcasts.
Ghosts, yeah.
And basically now works with Rev 3 full-time, so couldn't really commit. Max nobly tried for a good few weeks after, but eventually it became too much and he had to depart. And then
I think the main problem with Max was that he was doing the podcast at the Rev Vision 3 offices, so
that's the only place he could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I've been there. It's very, very open. There's a bunch of people around his cubicle. There's people everywhere. So the shit you guys are saying normally, shoving worms up each other's asses and everything, You can't really get away with that at the office. Or he was too embarrassed to try.
Oh, I don't know if you've heard any of those, but it's him whispering, going, "What? That's great, guys. Oh, yeah. Funny, really funny." Just like he basically wasn't allowed to do the show, but did it anyways for as long as he could. And thank you for that, Max. You're a hell of a guy.
Thank you. I have asked them to record a message. I don't know if they're going to be able to tack onto this. So maybe there'll be a message from them. I don't know yet. But, hopefully. But, so that was fun. They left, sadly. We had fun. We started at that time doing movie pitches for Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Famed Hollywood actor and giant-mouthed goblin. Which was fun. We had many a fun time, such as Muddy Buddies.
Oh, yeah.
The idea of Willem Dafoe as a man made out of mud.
Who children really like.
Yeah, and he's supportive and respects their decision to like him. The first one was The Breast Man, where Willem Dafoe is a sexist, misogynistic businessman who wakes up one day to find out he has breasts, and has to live with the hilarious consequences. So they were all fun. But then it was just me and you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
And we entered what I thought was a very successful era where we had a very good will they, won't they dynamic. Very reminiscent of Bruce Willis in The Expendables.
He means Moonlighting, Hamza, which I think Moonlighting is older than you, so you may know.
No, he was in The Expendables. I think he's talking about the scene with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis.
He's talking about Moonlighting.
I'm not talking about Moonlighting. Was that film with Gary Oldman in it? And the orange-haired lady.
Sybil Shepherd, Bruce Willis. They have a detective agency.
Sybil Shepherd was in Sybil, the sitcom Sybil, you madman.
That was Sally Field, wasn't it?
No, she was in Sybil Shepherd was in a sitcom called Sybil. She came out as a lesbian and then hosted a talk show.
That's Ellen.
No, Ellen was... I can't think of any other pop culture things to put Ellen in hilariously.
Probably something about That's So Raven or, Webster.
Yeah, Daria.
Exactly.
She was lead animator on Daria. Everyone knows her. Everybody knows.
My older brother insists that Daria is a lesbian. And it's a funny thing, to me anyway. He says, "Oh, yeah, dude, she's totally gay." I'm like, "She's a cartoon character, so no." And he's like, No, she's gay, you can tell. I'm like, "How can you tell?" It's like, there's this one episode where she's watching, like, a workout video, and then she looks at the camera and is like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Does she say yeah?" And he's like, No, it's just the way she looks at the camera. You know she's into it.
Your friend sounds like...
That's my brother.
Oh, your brother. Well,
yeah. Your
impression makes him sound like a sentient rat from a Disney movie. Like the kind that would be the hero's friend, but we all obviously know he's evil, and we're supposed to be shocked when he turns on him halfway through the film and sides with the baddie.
Oh, like the British guy in Indiana Jones 4.
Like the British guy in Indiana Jones 4, yeah.
Yeah, that sweaty kind of bearded guy. You're actually a lot like my brother in some ways, Jim.
Well, we both try to have sex with you.
No, he's always been he's an older brother. He's never like picked on me or anything. He's always been really nice. Yeah, he's a good guy. Anyway, I think we caught up with our Podtoid history. I think that brings us up to the present day. The show, nobody liked it anymore. It was much worse when it was just me and Jim. And then Hamza came in and rescued us. And finally our numbers are going back up because he brings the cool, kind of young, edgy. He's got hair and stuff. He got cool hair. You got all the things that people want, Hamza. Thank you for joining us on the show, Hamza.
You're welcome.
You're a hell of a guy, man. It's true.
No, I'm glad to be finally actually part of this. I wanted to be part of Podtoid ever since the beginning, but I was never confident in a lot of what I was doing back then. But now I'm at a point where
weird,
I feel
because you're such a notorious charmer. Like anywhere I go, like people have heard of Destructoid, it's always, oh, Jim. Everyone knows Jim. But when people actually know Destructoid, like know us personally, like, how's Hamza? Where's Hamza? I want to find Hamza. Give me some Hamza. Except for that one guy think his name was Curtis, who just wants to kill you.
Like Curtis Brown. Yeah,
every time I see Curtis, it's like, you beat up Hamza yet? I'm like, no, I'm never going to beat up Hamza. It's like, you should beat him up tonight. You should punch him in the face and those teeth.
Curtis is great. He's a giant jolly man. He's also black, so he's scary sometimes if you look at him. No, he's one of my good friends actually. I think he wants revenge for what I did to him at E3 last year. Like I saw him just walking the show floor. He works for HP, and his main division boss was walking around with him. And I spotted him in the crowd, like somewhere in the hallway near like the Sony booth or whatever. And he's looking at something and walking straight, like his head's turned away, and like he doesn't see me. So I fucking like run up to him and just like yell booga booga or some shit like that. He gets so fucking scared, like he throws his fist up in the air. He thinks he's about to get like rape attacked, and his boss is over to the side and laughing his ass off. He just saw like I'm like this scrawny like pale, like almost like Caucasian dude, whatever. And like Curtis is a really giant, black, scary looking guy if you don't know him. And he was terrified. It was fucking great. So Curtis, you suck. I don't know. I lost it there. That's why I was never confident doing Podtoid in the beginning. Like
you're great. Everyone loves you.
I don't know.
And even the guy who you terrified, he still brings you up every time I see him. Like, he doesn't say hi to me, really. He's like, hey, where's Hamza? But it's because he likes you so much. It's just his way of showing it, I think. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I could bring something to the table.
You bring a whole lot to it. You know, people want cool guys on a show. Jim is cool.
I'm not cool.
You're very cool, Hamza. Jim is cool. You're very cool, Hamza. I'm not cool. I'm old and weird. Everyone knows it. They're like, oh, yeah, he's a nice guy. But I'm totally out of touch with what's going on with anything normal. And Jim is a comedy powerhouse, of course. But he's focused on the video games and the movies, whereas Hamza is out on the streets. Girls. I said this last week.
You made him sound like a curb crawler last week. You make him sound like a curb crawler again.
He's at the clubs. He's at the parties.
Ladies and gentlemen, I saw him sign on. I just added him on a whim. I don't know if I was being rude or not. But I don't know what he was on for. But Max Scoville is with us.
It was a magical ambush.
That's awesome. This is really happening. I was just talking about how cool Hamza is. Max, do you have anything to add? How cool is Hamza?
I heard you guys talking up Hamza, and I just had to come onto Skype. Because Hamza sucks. He's always just creeping up people's pant legs. He's like sand. He gets everywhere.
Hamza, any retort to the fact that you're like sand? In Attack of the Clones, I think. That was a reference to that.
What? Attack of the Clones?
Yeah, you're like how Anakin feels about sand, Max Scoville feels about you, I think.
That's great.
That is a powerful insult, Max. It's pretty intense. Yeah. It's great to have you on, Max. How have you been?
I've been okay.
Yeah?
I'm uploading an interview I did about Sonic the Hedgehog in his car.
Oh, his new transforming car?
He's got a transforming car, which really just doesn't make any sense. They got that guy from Golden Axe riding on a turtle.
Oh, I love that turtle.
They've got the guy from Golden Axe riding on a turtle.
Yeah. Was that the dwarf, Gilius Thunderhead?
Yep. Sold! Game of the year now. Gilius Thunderhead on the turtle.
Yeah. I think it's level 3 that all takes place on a very upset turtle.
Giant turtle, yeah.
Yeah, you're basically like a parasite, just like eating it, being a jerk to it. That doesn't sound too bad. Well, Diddy Kong Racing, I think it was called. Diddy Kong, what's it called? You remember that?
Diddy Kong Racing, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That one had planes and boats and cars. And
yeah, that was all. Those are all separate events. But Sonic one, like your car, like transforms into different vehicles.
Right, mid-race, and each leg of the race has like a different vehicle section. That doesn't sound like it's definitely bad, Max.
It's actually pretty okay. You know, yeah. It's all right.
It's hard to get too enthusiastic about it, though, because it's just kind of, mascot racing.
I like the idea of the last one. I like the Sega All-Stars stuff. It's, it's obviously it's a poor man's version of the Nintendo stuff, but Sega All-Stars Racing, I mean, it looked really good. It had some nice ideas. The AI, though, is what killed it. It was worse than the AI in Mario Kart.
In terms
Yeah,
of just
not,
like...
They're not nice. They're not nice little animals in cars. They want to win.
Right. And they even if you're doing really well technically, they find ways to kind of make you lose. Is that right?
They shoot you with like pufferfish and missiles, stuff like that.
Are you at Rev 3 right now? We were just talking about how hard it is for you to record a podcast from Rev 3.
Yeah, I'm sitting at my desk.
Yeah, you're being like a stealthy like.
I mean, don't feel compelled to stay. I saw you on, and I thought, well, fuck it, I'll bring him in for at least a bit.
Can we record on like a Sunday sometime? I watched a Willem Dafoe movie last night, and I was just like fucking tearing up the whole time because I missed you guys.
Aw, which one was it?
I watched Daybreakers.
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
That's a good one. It's
so good.
We were talking about Daybreakers on a Podtoid because they got the casting wrong. Like, Willem Dafoe is the good guy and Sam Neill is the vampire. Like, it didn't make sense.
It was weird.
Yeah, sounds neat.
He also had that beard that just looked like it was gonna fall off the whole time. Willem Dafoe's face is too like unique to have hair on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got like leathery, barren skin. It amazes me anything can grow.
It's like Arizona on there.
Yeah.
Like face.
Craggy and sun swept. Yeah, I think that's a word. Is that right? Can you sneak Tara on the show too? Sneak her on. It's episode 2.
I don't know where she is.
It's episode 200.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think she might have left.
Yeah, she left for the day. Oh, yeah, it is kind of late there. Huh. That's okay. Just thought I'd ask. So I don't have to whisper.
Why are we all whispering?
How you guys
Very
doing?
important.
The Stasi's coming.
Guys, I can't talk about dragon fucking because I need to right back on the wall again.
Who's close to you in your office? You have Carboni and is Zach Miner around?
Zach's actually checking out Civilization 5 right now.
Oh, that's good for him.
I told him to be civilized.
You fucking lampooned his entire life system.
Yeah, I got it. So good.
And who's that cute red-haired girl likes Parappa the Rapper, who you played video games with once on a show? What's her name again?
Jackie Talbot?
Yeah, that's the one. She's neat.
Let's all fall in love with her.
Yeah, let's do it. It's not hard.
Gangbanger is shove worms up her ass.
It's a good callback, Hamza. That's what you mix, Max. Jim
Hello?
went on. Hello?
Hi, Podtoid.
Hi, is this Tara Long?
Hi, Podtoid.
Oh my
Jackie.
God, it's really you.
I
Oh,
just
Jackie.
went out to get some tea and some candy, and when I came back, Max handed me a headphone. And
Tara Long, you are my every dream.
Did you go get the tea from that place I got you tea that time?
I don't know. There's like 8 of them.
Oh, it's like almost in the same building.
I bet it's that one though.
Yeah, that was good. We were tired.
It's pretty good tea.
Remember when we were in that car? When we'd always be in like a weird car? Sometimes Hamza would drive us when we were first starting the show.
That.
And he crammed us in there.
Back when we lived a lot closer, also.
Yeah, pretty much in the same building. It'd be me, you, Max, John Carnage, Pico Mouse, and Hamza all in like
Sometimes Venom.
and sometimes Venom, all in a 4-seater car, just crammed in, trying to be internet famous.
Simply put.
Indeed. How have you been?
I've been great, actually. Now that I have this tea, everything's swell. How have you guys been? How's Happy 200?
Oh yeah, this is our 200th episode. It wasn't special before. We just talked for a long time.
No, it's a special episode. We celebrated with worms.
It
Hey
was-
Tara, you want some worms?
Here. I didn't even hear you.
Yeah, Hobbs is on the show now. Isn't
Yeah,
that
I'm part of the cast now.
How's that going?
It's disturbing.
great? We got much worse after you left, Tara. I don't know if you'd heard about
I've
Jim's.
heard you guys have just gone off the deep end, and it's all pedophilia all the time.
No, to be fair, we scaled back on the pedophilia. Now we're talking
I
about
heard
putting.
you guys are now in the pedophilia section of iTunes. Is that true?
Talking really loud.
I'm talking really loudly in the office. I'm going to have to go now.
Ah.
Thanks for joining us, Tara.
Bye, boobs.
Oh my god.
Oh, Hamza.
She loves me.
Hamza, you rapscallion.
You're the worst, Hamza. You're the
He is a
worst
total
man.
rascal. His rascally ways are.
He has brought the tone of this Podtoid right down.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's all Hamza's fault. It was totally clean before he showed up and said boobs.
I got horny over the worms.
It's literally the least erotic thing ever. Yeah, Max, you missed it. But Jim came up with a rap group that we're all going to be in, and the first video is just me naked with my butt cheeks spread apart, and Hamza and Jim troweling worms into my butt while rapping about, bitches and hoes and gonna get that money and all that stuff.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
I know. And I just have to sit there and take it. I'm like, do I get to rap? And he's like,
No,
well,
you'll be
rap.
stood bent over and taking it. You can't sit
Right.
down, you'll make a mess on the chair.
Yeah, I'll get worms all over the chair.
You'll get
which is
worms
bad
on the
for chair.
Yeah, and obviously a bit of your poo, because the worms will have, squashed that out.
Yeah, it's troubling.
Simple, get with the physics, guy.
So, yeah, just so you know what you missed. That's what we had talked about before you showed up, and now you're here to rescue us and be normal. Just be a normal, funny man. That's all we want. Can you do it? Yeah.
Don't do anything with worms. Don't do that.
Well, caterpillars will be a bit more expensive, that's my problem.
Oh, so gross. Because they've got legs. It's even worse.
Hey, I was thinking,
Yeah?
can we can you guys do a Sunday Podtoid sometime so that I can be on it properly?
Yeah, that's what I saw you at PAX East, and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
I want to scream at the devil. I want to make love like a bird falling out of the sky.
I know Jim is very busy on Sundays, and I do.
Well, it's actually the opposite. Sunday is the only day I'm not busy, so I keep it unbusy, but I would not be opposed to doing a Sunday Podtoid just to get Max on for a bit.
It would be worth it.
Have a nice comeback episode now and then.
Yeah, let's plan that. Let's do that. If not this week, then next week.
Let me know.
Yeah?
Let me know. I gotta go type things on a Word document probably.
I understand.
I have to make a spreadsheet.
Yo, go make those annotations on YouTube, bro.
I have to spread sheets all over the bed because I've soiled it again. Spreadsheets. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, Max. Thanks for joining us, Max. Bye.
That
Oh,
was horrible. I hate those two so much.
I like them so much. It's weird to like people so much, but I do. I feel like they're family, I just feel like,
Yeah.
oh, you guys, you're so great. Oh, I just want you to succeed and live and be happy and have a bunch of beautiful children and yeah.
Well, especially since for almost we all almost pretty much lived together for a while. You and I, Holmes, we lived together for a good while, and then Tara was over constantly.
Yeah. And Max was
Max
over a
would
good
be-
amount.
Yeah, a good amount too. Yeah.
I remember helping Max build his confidence to be on video. That was so fun when I talked him into doing his Tommy Wiseau impersonation. It's like, I'm not funny enough. I can't do it. I'm like, you are hilarious. Do this video now. And we did it. And it was hilarious. It was really dumb and weird.
Jonathan.
It was hilarious. Yeah?
could I talk you into getting the confidence to be in some of my videos?
I'm just not a horny, sexy man at all. It's just I'm a bad, it's just bad casting. for me
And Max
to be-
said he wasn't funny. You gotta get the self-confidence in you. And I am on hand to put it in you.
Is that what you call your penis?
That is where I was going, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I ruined your
funny
joke.
nickname.
Yay.
I was...
No, you made it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin your asshole.
You know, there was so much video game stuff that happened in the past week and a half. I was excited to talk about it too.
What?
So,
Oh,
yeah.
much,
Okay.
so much video game
Wait a
stuff
minute.
happened.
Wait a minute. Wait. What?
God of War Ascension multiplayer
Huh?
happened.
What?
Yep. That
Huh?
that game we talked about.
Video what? What?
PlayStation
Huh?
All-Stars Battle
What?
Royale got
What?
really announced.
What?
Jim, shut up. Let's talk about the game.
These are all things that really happened.
I
It's
know,
exciting.
I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Sega president
You're way
quit.
too horny for Holmes, Jim. Come on.
La Mulana was canceled. The world went nuts.
Oh,
no
yeah,
one cares
La
about
Mulana.
the Earth literally span off its fucking axis at that one.
I thought it was, it was sad for me. And it's funny, the people who are mad about it are really, really mad about it. But for the most part, no one has any idea what La Mulana even means.
Yeah, let's talk about PlayStation All-Stars.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
That people actually care about.
Sure. It's
I was really surprised because people are really dismissive of it. A lot of people are against the idea.
I'm all for it. Like, I mean, Sony has a great back catalog of characters. It's a giant. Like, they're not even trying to differentiate from Smash Bros. But you know what? Fuck it. Just run wild with it. I guess at this point.
Well, the controls are at least different. You don't do smash attacks in the same way by holding the control stick and the button at the same time, right? It's more of like a meter charging super meter sort of game, right?
I mean, still, the fact there's just be Super Smash, like, what do they call them? Brawl?
The Smash Ball.
Smash Ball. I mean, well, no, I mean, like, oh yeah, whatever. It's the same concept essentially.
Yeah, except you charge a meter, which makes it a little more Street Fighter-ish, which I think is good. But I don't want to be a downer all the time, but I have to admit that it feels a little uninspired that it looks that much like Smash Brothers. Fat Princess, the character in the game, Fat Princess, even seems to kind of control and fight just like Peach. It almost feels like they didn't even try to put that much new into it, which I have to admit I didn't think I would be that disappointed, but I was left feeling a little empty seeing the initial footage of it and hearing about it. It's going to be fun. I'm going to buy it day one anyway, but I feel like it might be a little bit of missed potential there for...
I mean, what else... People were saying that, but I mean, what else could they have done aside from, like, say, like mimicking Street Fighter or one of those type of fighting games as well?
Well, what I had hoped was... I think it was Silent Protagonist. One of our community bloggers wrote about this, and I was thinking the same thing. Is that PlayStation is really the era of 3D gaming. Like Nintendo, most of Nintendo properties started in 2D, so it kind of made sense that Smash Brothers was a 2D fighter.
Oh shit!
So it could have played like Toe Ball,
or like Power Stone,
or like Power Stone 4, which was a great four-player fighter. Oh, I'm sorry, Power Stone 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wish there was a new Power Stone.
Yeah, I know, they stopped at 2. But I love Power Stone 2. I used to play that game every day.
Yeah, they could have done something like Power Stone.
It would have been better. I'm not saying that what they're doing is going to be bad, but it does feel a little bit like they had the opportunity to take some risks and do something a little different, and instead they're playing it safe and just doing what they know works, which is Smash Brothers. Jim?
I am 50-50. I don't quite get all the hate. Especially with the whole, I don't like it because it looks like a game I really like. Like, I don't quite get the logic there, the idea that it will be shit. And I've always been of the idea that this is an industry where what matters isn't doing something originally, it's doing it well. And we don't yet know whether they're going to do this well. That's what I'm interested in. Like, are they going to do this well or fuck it up? Until then... all I know is Sean Pertwee has recorded his original lines for Radic, so I am fucking excited about that.
That is so weird. I'm still trying to wrap my head around, because that is a bleak... That character, I mean, he's entertaining, but that is a sorrowful...
I like the character lineup in that regards, too, because you have, like, Sweet Tooth and Kratos and Killzone Dude against Fat Princess and Sly Cooper and all these cutesy characters, Parappa. It's like... Yeah. It's just such a weird...
It's
clash.
interesting.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm very on the fence about that in particular, because it's like, I don't know, like, it's interesting to see all these clashing art styles, but at the same time, if they'd have done something to tweak them, like they did with Dissidia, like when they stylized everything a certain way, I don't know if I'd have preferred that, like maybe everyone cel-shaded. Like, I'd love to see a cel-shaded Radic or a Kratos going against a rapper. Sure. Like, something to unify them. The fact that they are all together, almost like, looking at the screenshots, it almost looks like Photoshops.
Yeah,
and that's...
especially with Parappa, who's like so flat and everything.
It's kind of off-putting and strange, but again, I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a chance for sure.
Yeah, I want to play it, and I'm not... I think the people that are saying that they hate it are just angry that there was something that was special that only Nintendo did for a little while, and it's no longer just Nintendo's thing to make a game like that. And they're angry because they love Nintendo and want Nintendo to be special all the time. But I'm glad Sony's giving it a try. I prefer them to do that than to. I'm sorry, yeah, Hamza.
I wonder if this I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I wonder if this will change anything in regards to Smash Brothers. If they'll try harder this time around, because I felt like Brawl was just very copy and paste from what Melee was. Melee was fucking great. Brawl, I dedicated hours and hours into Melee, and then with Brawl, I just kind of gave up after a while.
Yeah, people didn't like Brawl as much. I prefer Brawl as a total package, but as just a competitive fighting game. Melee is better. They've been talking about the next Smash Brothers, and they're saying that they're going to make sure that it has a very different hook to it than the past one. I think Brawl was trying to. Yeah.
God damn it! I'm sorry.
No, I want to hear what you have to say, Hamza. I don't mind.
I hope that hook isn't we're gonna have this crazy Wii U / 3DS connectivity feature where you could open up more of the game by playing it on the handheld version or some bullshit like that. I'm hoping they don't go that route.
I'm betting it is. I mean, with Brawl, the hook was supposed to be its online multiplayer and also a lengthy single-player experience, which was not what people wanted out of Smash
that single-player experience.
Yeah, I like it, but it's not a
it's
great
too tedious.
I hear what you're saying. It's not masterfully designed, but I just like I just liked it. I can't explain it. It was just fun for me.
I like it for the story elements.
I just liked beating people up and going to the different worlds and stuff. I'm pretty easy to please in that way. I wouldn't give it high marks in terms of how well it was made, but it was a nice little concept. But that's not what Smash Brothers fans wanted. Brawl did not give Smash Brothers fans who grew up on the N64 game and on the GameCube game what they wanted, and I don't think that the next Smash Brothers is gonna do that either. I think Sakurai is really just wanting to go out and do new stuff as often as he can, and isn't going to work to refine the original Smash Brothers concept all that much. Yeah. That's my guess.
No, I'm totally in agreement. I do back to All-Stars, I do like the level design.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's really cute. How they integrate different elements from different games.
I didn't really check out the too much of the game details at the moment. How is victory determined? Did they go straight towards ripping that off? The knocking outs and the...
Yeah, I think you...
That is a bit shameless if that's what the route they went.
I'm pretty sure you build up a meter to do a more powerful attack, but you're knocking guys out as opposed to depleting their life and stuff like that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say I'm glad it's a brawler because that means I can play it. Because I don't do the fighting games as I've said before. So the fact it is a brawlers, I can play all day. I love a good brawler. If it was something more akin to Street Fighter, I wouldn't have,
Yeah, and that wouldn't be the audience they're targeting, because it's such a small audience. I know fighting games came back pretty big, but Smash Brothers Brawl sold 7 million copies, which is way more than any Street Fighter game I think has ever done, except maybe the original Street Fighter 2. So, yeah, they want to make this game appeal to everybody who's ever owned a PlayStation system ever, and you can't do that with a Street Fighter type game, I don't think. Yeah. So that was some news that happened. Ooh, wow.
And
see, between that and I think we're gonna talk about God of War Ascension multiplayer next. The fact that Sony revealed both those titles ahead of E3, which is a month away, makes me think they have something really big to talk about at E3.
Either that, or they're just sick of getting all their
franchises.
shit leaked.
Oh yeah, that too.
They always have their big reveals for E3, but we know what's coming, and they're just... Even though, both God of War and All-Stars were leaked anyway.
Yeah.
You can't just announce shit anymore.
Well, I don't really understand E3 anymore. Not that I ever did, but the more I think about it, and I've been thinking about it a lot building up to this year's event, so much stuff gets announced at the same time, no one can keep up. And most people miss about half the news. I know just being at the show, I'm going to miss 90% of the news. Because it's going to get posted at 4 in the morning, and I'm not going to have a chance to read it because it almost doesn't make sense to do that much big announcements at the same time. And maybe that's what Sony's thinking, is they're going to announce this stuff now, then they'll show it at E3 and people will do hands-on and talk about it some more, but it's getting in the public consciousness ahead of time when otherwise news has been kind of dead for the past couple of weeks in terms of big stories. I mean, Black Ops 2 got announced, but we all knew that was coming, and a few things here and there. Bayonetta 2, I guess, was canceled. Did you guys hear that?
I don't know what to make of that. The story came from Spong, and Spong is a lot of some of the things they've said have turned out to be not quite what they were. And we've had, obviously, is it Kamiya who said keep an eye on magazines? But he's said that before, like that's his hilarious joke is keep an eye on magazines.
Well, what I had heard was that, not from Spong, I thought it was from somewhere else, that reports were coming in, and none of them had been substantiated yet, but that Sega had been working on Bayonetta 2, but because they're restructuring the company and not making as much money as they had hoped, that they were canceling it even before they announced it. And then Spong said that the producer, Kamea-san, had said, oh, but wait for a couple of weeks in major video game magazines, which is what he said last time they were supposed to announce Bayonetta 2, when he was just joking. It's a weird kind of anti-comedy he has, where he just says something that sounds like a fact.
Where he just lies.
yeah, like, I'll tell you next week, and then next week happens, he's like, I was joking.
You may laugh now.
Yeah. Oh god, I can't wait for like Konami's speaking of like bad Japanese jokes and comedy.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing I'm really looking forward to at E3. You lost the call for a little while, Hamza, but you came back like a champ.
Yeah, dude. What's up?
I'll catch you up. We just talked about how Bayonetta 2 maybe got canceled before it was even announced and how that was sad.
Yeah, that would suck, but like I could totally understand that because the company's like full steam ahead with Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Oh, right. Platinum is. Yeah, I wonder if that was over disagreements with Platinum or conflicts with Platinum as opposed to Sega just losing money. Like, if Sega were losing money, I think the last thing they'd want to cancel is Bayonetta 2, because that's one of the only big modern day franchises they have going. I
don't know. I don't think Bayonetta did brilliantly for them.
It didn't do brilliantly, but it sold over 1 million units, which is, much more than, let's say, I don't know, that's what Darksiders did, and Darksiders got a sequel. Once you build the engine, making the sequel doesn't cost half as much, my understanding is, of than making a whole new game. And when you've already got an install base of...
Maybe, but they probably, if it's as bad as some people say, maybe they just want to focus on the guaranteed big, your Sonic and Aliens, like the big franchise stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anarchy Reigns, though, that's the one I figured would be first to go, like a pseudo-sequel to Mad World. They must be really far along with it at this point.
And they're still revealing things for it, too. It's like, just release this fucking game already.
I know. I'm really worried that game's going to disappoint. I'm
not even expecting it to be good at all.
Yeah.
I lost interest in that 2 E3s ago, or was it last E3? Where I said, look, because I couldn't tell what it was. I said, just tell me straight, closer towards Streets of Rage or Street Fighter? And they said Street Fighter, and I switched off.
But that's not true. That speaks to what the whole issue with the game is. Like, it seems like anyone who looks into that game or asks about it is like, is this something I like? And then Sega just says yes, no matter what. It's like, is this like Metal Gear? Yes, it is. Is this like Street Fighter? It's like that too. Is this
they said something. Yes, they said something I didn't like. So
right, but they didn't know. They assumed you like Street Fighter. I bet, because everyone does. To me, it just looks like Mad World, except without motion controls and without black and white graphics and with multiplayer. Just a simple punch people in the face game.
Yeah, I mean, they just...
Isn't Bayonetta in the game?
Yeah, Bayonetta's a character. People didn't... I posted that news like it was important, and I thought it was important. I was excited about it.
I think maybe people are just... Like, they've got the fatigue of Anarchy Reigns now. Like, it's been on the cards for so long, but with very little to show for it. Like, they showed all those trailers last year or even the year before, and
I think
then
2010 is when I first heard about it. Yeah,
it just went dry after that, and
Was
I
it
guess
even
people are
playable
tired.
at E3 last year?
I think it was.
Might have been. I didn't get to play it. I didn't.
Alright.
I don't know.
I think it was, but that's what I'm saying about E3. It's like I find out a month later all the stuff that happened at E3. I think it's overload. I don't know if maybe the readers it's different for them, but as a member of the gaming press, it just seems like too much.
Oh no, the worst way to find out about E3 is to be there. It's true of any event.
True, yeah. PAX, I feel like I can manage pretty well. 3 days of really just combing the floor and talking to as many people as I can. I don't feel like I missed too much.
Yeah, PAX isn't like a news thing. It's more,
True.
you know, stories come out of it, but people don't go there to break stories.
That's true.
It's easier to follow that way.
Yeah.
Whereas E3, just so much going on at once, and when you're on the show floor, you can't pick up on it.
No, you're waiting in line, or you're interviewing someone, or you're playing something. Yeah.
You know, PAX is evolving into being like this indie showcase. Like PAX East this year, like I took almost like no appointments from the big publishers because everything we would see at the show was shown at GDC.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like PAX Prime is gonna be the same exact deal because I mean it's just a couple months after E3 and right before Gamescom. So whatever the big publishers are gonna show, at least for the press side, is not going to be that big of a deal, but like the indie presence at PAX East this year was incredible to the point where I'm completely reevaluating how we do PAX coverage for going forward now. But
really? Huh.
Yeah, like I want to take. I never want to take appointments again for PAX. Basically, I just want to tell whoever's covering the show to just go on the floor, hit the indie stuff first, and then like expand outward that way for the rest of the weekend, basically.
Yeah, that's what I tried to do. I hit as many of the indie booths as possible in terms of videos, and
there was a ton of stuff there. There was
I had a great time.
Bunch of stuff that I had no idea was even going to be at the show. Because I mean, the indie companies, they don't know how to promote themselves, but there was some cool stuff.
Absolutely. Playing Super Time Force for the first time and Guacamelee.
Yeah.
Gotta say it right. People get very upset when I mispronounce melee.
Yeah, those two games especially just shine throughout the whole show.
They're fantastic, yeah. My most popular video, though, of PAX East was just Sonic for Episode 2, me just talking to a man, and him just saying stuff that people... He was a great guy, his name's Ken, but he didn't have anything
Ken Bellow!
Yeah, he didn't have anything
great guy.
He was just like, I'll tell you all the stuff I've told people for the past 3 months about Sonic for Episode 2. I'm like, please do, Ken, and people just can't get enough of that Sonic the Hedgehog. Just freaking love him. Love that hedgehog, Jim. What do they love about him? Tell me, just explain to me what people like about Sonic the Hedgehog. Just tell me.
His tight ass.
Is it they want to be him? Like, people see Mario and they're like, I don't want to be him. Look at him. But they see Sonic and they're like, yeah, live my life like him.
He's pretty bodacious.
You gotta go fast. Get them chili dogs.
Yeah.
I don't know why I guess that's my Sonic voice.
I thought it was good. Yeah, you did actually sound a good amount like Sonic. Yeah.
Shut up!
You did. I had to think about it. I was like, let me think about this. Yes, he did. He did sound like it. Good job.
Well, for the record, I was channeling Jamal White's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, yeah. Probably the most classic of all the Sonic voices. Because originally, he wasn't voiced, that Sonic. He was just a normal video game character. Speaking of video games, guys, I don't know if you've heard, but it's time for video games to grow up. Had you heard? People are talking about it.
What are you on about?
People are writing about it. People are writing big, important stories about it.
I like this.
Story
Hamza knows it's going somewhere he doesn't like.
Somebody said that it's time that, video games are very juvenile.
It was Jade Raymond, by the way.
Was it Jade Raymond? Yeah. It was Jade Raymond and another man whose name escapes me, who is a fine writer. But he interviewed Jonathan Blow for The Atlantic recently.
Oh, we're talking about Jonathan Blow. Okay, cool. I'll see you guys later.
I'm going to try to like Jonathan Blow from now on. That's my New Year's resolution. I don't know him at all Because he's friends with friends of mine, and I like his games, and there's no reason to dislike someone I've never met just because they sent me hate mail. I should just like him. No, just once or twice. He just didn't like something I wrote, so he immediately told me I was the worst person on the.
I just realized that I could basically punch you in the face and you'll still be my friend.
Well, probably you've never actually hit me, have you?
No, but I really want to now.
I could get away with it. Jonathan, I'm sure Jonathan Blow to me seems like a guy who feels emotions really strongly and just doesn't understand the world around him in a lot of ways, and it makes him come off like he's more mean-spirited than he is. But I think his feelings get hurt fast, and then he just reacts. And I can't get mad at people like that. They don't mean to cause trouble. You know, they're just sensitive.
He's attacked me in the same way for... It wasn't even me that did it originally. It was CBG, and I redirected him to them, and he started just attacking them. He said something in an interview. He made a controversial statement in an interview, and CBG did what you'd expect.
Are best known for.
Well, I mean, I can't attack them for it because I will do it myself, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The most controversial thing he said in the interview was also the most interesting thing he said in the interview, and certainly the thing that readers would want to talk about. So I see nothing wrong in breaking it out.
Oh, I thought you were going to imply like they misquoted him or something.
No. They they quoted him, but it was a quote that Jonathan Blow didn't like. I mean, which would make me wonder why he said it in the first place. It was a quote he didn't like isolated, and he attacked me for talking about what he said rather than talking about some of the other things he said that he found more interesting, but our readers certainly wouldn't have. Yeah. And then he called CBG a bunch of hacks, and I wrote an actual editorial on Destructoid about it because I was like, well, it's not really a hack. It's a hack thing to give your readers something that you think your readers will be interested in.
Right. People are more interested in the negative than the positive too. So
yeah, or just any quotes taken out of context. I find a lot of game developers, maybe it happens in other industries too, but game developers feel like you needed to understand every single word that I said exactly the way that I said it, or else I'm going to be upset about it.
I also think that the term out of context is... The meaning of that term has been lost because a lot of developers will jump on that, just jumping on it to hide behind the negative connotation that comes with that term. Usually it's not that it was taken out of context, it was just focused on and they didn't like it. And some of them will do that. Like, I've had developers accuse me of taking them out of context when I just posted what they said. And I'm like, well, what other context can you take it? There was a recent one, I forget who it was, but a developer said something and there was no other way to take it. But it was the visceral guy, the guy who the story producer.
Oh, you're talking about the Gears of War thing.
And he said Gears of War had literally the worst story ever. And he said people took that out of context. Well, what other context was there? And he never explained what that context was, because I think the term out of context is just this easy go-to people use to basically try and imply that we were wrong for taking what was said the way it was said, when it was like there's not really another direction to take it in. Sure.
Unless the context was him saying, I'm going to make up something. I'm just going to lie and pretend to have an opinion that I don't mean. And that wasn't the context. The context was him talking about how video game writing is bad in general, and even slagged off on his own writing a little bit, didn't he? He said, and Dead Space's writing isn't that good.
No, yeah, he was fair. It was the man's opinion, and he got censored, and I guess he got attacked for it, which has been happening way too much in the community lately. Yeah. It was a shame. But yeah, you get developers that, they will say something controversial, and then they will get the backlash. And then they'll blame the people that publicise the comment, and it's like, don't say things if you don't want them talked about.
Yeah,
you know?
I hate to profile, but I do find that a lot of people who develop video games, the reason they're attracted to the medium is you can have full control over the entire way that the whole world is interpreted. You know, the whole message is them, particularly with indie developers who make a whole game by themselves. Like, I did the music, I did the graphics, I did everything. This is all me. And when someone in the media takes control over how their message is presented, even a little bit, they get very, very upset because they lost that control. And Jonathan Blow, I'm remembering in Indie Game the movie, which you guys should all see. It's playing across. It's going to be in every city, I'm pretty sure, on May.
I'll pirate it and watch it.
You should. I don't think you can pirate it yet. I hope not. It's going to be in theaters. It's worth seeing in theaters. It's great. But Jonathan Blow's in that, and he talks about how when he got
blow in the movie.
He's very good. He is smart and honest, and he makes himself look like a little bit of a maniac because he says some of the most positive reviews for Braid upset him because they weren't positive in the right way. He's like, I wanted you to get this message, but instead you just thought it was fun. And that really bothered me. Like, he really wants to be perfectly understood. And unless he is, he gets like very, very frustrated. And he's open about how... I can't
believe people had fun with my game. This game was about the nuclear war. I don't even know, really. I didn't really play Braid, but they totally got my game wrong.
And he's aware. Wow. And then he just like turns into hail or something. Just shrinks into a
He exploded from all the worms inside of him.
Right back. Yes,
I fucking love that I'm on Podtoid.
Yeah, man. You're nailing it.
Yeah. Anyways, go on. Blows it.
That's about it. Just that. And he's aware that makes him weird, and he's willing to show that he's imperfect and has vulnerabilities, which makes for a good video game. So, trying to like Jonathan Blow. That's my mission for the year. I can do it. You guys will help me. You both love him.
What?
Yeah, you love him too.
What are you talking about?
Jonathan Blow?
Yeah, whatever.
yeah, sure, kid, sure.
Is it questions time? How long have we been doing it? Are we doing it too long, too short?
We've been doing it for a bit.
For an hour and a half, almost.
We've been doing it for a little while. I've got an idea, though.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, you want to hear it? Okay.
Oh, yeah, please.
I've got a Willem Dafoe movie pitch.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, last week's was terrible.
No, it wasn't.
It makes me feel sad to think about it. Like, I think of a cat that has learned to cry.
I liked last week's. It was a different type of self-loathing that you expressed. Because a lot of these are expressions of self-loathing in my... It's like,
Podtoid is one giant exercise in self-loathing.
And that was a slightly different vein of it. But I know what you mean. I do stuff that I wish I had done differently, and that makes the next thing I do hopefully closer to what I originally wanted to do. So let's hear your pitch, Jim. That's exciting.
This week's movie pitch for Willem Dafoe is called The Taste of Crime.
Yeah?
Willem Dafoe plays the tongue arm of the law, Sergeant Lick, who has a superhero power, which he got after eating a radioactive ice cream. He has got the power to taste crimes with his radioactive, augmented tongue.
Whoa. Is it big?
No, it's normal.
Just regular? Okay.
It's normal, but it's what he does with it. Maybe it's green. We'll make it green.
Yeah. Special effects.
We'll have him like chew on a green sweet, and it'll make him go green. So he's got this green tongue, and what he does is when they catch a criminal, he can tell if they're guilty or not by licking their face and tasting the guilt. And he can taste the exact crime when it happened and who he did it to and where the body is. So he'll sit people down and go, I know you did it, Johnny. And Johnny, who is played by Brendan Fraser, says, I didn't do it, Chief.
Oh, no. Like his Dudley Do Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And Willem Dafoe says, well, Looks like you've had your last lick of freedom. And then he grabs Brendan Fraser's head by the ears. He grabs him by the ears and then just licks him long and hard along his face, from his chin, across his lips, over his nose and his forehead, and into his hair. And just...
Oh.
And he goes... Sexter, baby! Throw him in the jail where he will never come out of it.
How do people know that he's not lying? He could just be licking people and say, "Oh yeah, this one, smoke some crack, put him in the brig." He could just lick anyone and say anything he wants.
Well, I've anticipated your concern.
Yeah.
Don't think I haven't thought all the plot holes through. Right?
Uh-huh.
And I've dealt with that problem by never addressing it. Okay?
They just totally trust his radioactive tongue.
It never comes up. As soon as he licks you, you know you're done. Because the truth will out. And it tastes of justice. So he will lick Brendan Fraser, put him into jail, right? Except a bad thing has happened. Right?
What happened?
Oh, fuck. It is... Bin Laden has come to town.
Osama bin Laden?
Osama bin Laden, right, in his giant turban helicopter.
He's got a helicopter?
Yeah, and he is
like a turban?
Yeah, and he is played by Gene Simmons, who is all browned up. This is not racist.
The bass player for Kiss.
Yeah,
right. And
he threatens to blow up New York if he doesn't get given $1,000.
Why don't they just give him... I have $1,000. I would just give it to him.
Because they were going to. The mayor of New York says, well, I've got $1,000 in my pocket. I'm rich. Why don't we give it to him? And Willem Dafoe puts his hand on his wrist and says, don't you dare. Something tastes bad of crime. And I'm gonna lick it. I haven't thought these puns through.
No, you don't need puns. You just need honest acting.
So anyway, he spends his time licking his way through New York's undercover Al-Qaeda circuit.
Why? There's no mystery to be solved. Everyone knows it's just Osama bin Laden in his turban helicopter.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Right? He grabs, he'll be walking in Times Square and he'll grab an Al-Qaeda guy. They're just walking around New York. With rocket launchers and everything, going shopping. And he'll grab them and just, tell me where Bin Laden is! And he'll go, Hezbollah, I don't know. And they'll say it in an English accent. But if they say Hezbollah enough, people will believe it. And it'll be alright. And then he just licks them and goes... And then he licks his way through Al-Qaeda to find out where he is. Every lick he takes him one step closer. And he says, every lick I take takes me one step closer. Until eventually, right, where else is famous in New York?
Times Square?
Times Square again.
Yeah,
right?
Why not?
There is the big conclusion, right? It's Willem Dafoe and Gene Simmons as Bin Laden. And he says, right, I'm gonna lick you.
Why? He knows he did it. There's
It's a superpower. It's a superpower, Jonathan.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry.
I will lick you and then you will go to the jail. And Bin Laden says, ha 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 ha, Hezbollah, I don't think so. And pulls out his secret weapon, right?
Yeah.
Which is a pot of peanut butter. And he smears it on his face. This isn't racist. He smears it on his face. And then Willem Dafoe goes, rats! With that peanut butter. He just says this to no, he grabs a passerby and then just shouts in his face and goes, rats! With this peanut butter obscuring his flavour, I'll never be able to catch him. And then Bin Laden walks backwards and says, try and find me now. And he's in the crowd. And Willem Dafoe is just grabbing random passerbys and licking them and going, are you Bin Laden? And he grabs another passerby, are you Bin Laden? And he can't find him because he's covered in peanut butter, which works because of some reasons.
Well, I mean, I've licked peanut butter before. It's all you can taste. It's very overpowering.
Yeah, so he can't...
Sticky, too. Yeah.
It's like in Predator, when Schwarzenegger smears cold mud on himself and then the Predator can't see him.
Right.
If you put the peanut butter on him, and then Willem Dafoe can't find him because his power is in his tongue. So he's just grabbing passers-by and hoping if he licks them, it will taste like Bin Laden and he'll know he's got the right man. And Bin Laden's like running around Times Square saying, I'm over here, or maybe I'm over here. And he can't see him.
You could also just try to pick out the guy who tastes like peanut butter or looks like Osama Bin Laden. Or both.
He could do that, but he won't. Because otherwise we won't have the...
It's got to taste like Bin Laden.
We won't have the dramatic conclusion.
Well, yeah, what happens?
It rains. And it washes the peanut butter off. Right?
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh no! Oh no! Like that. Just like for about 10 minutes, just holding his face going, oh no! Oh no! And then Willem Dafoe goes, my tongue is picking something up!
What? Is it just in the air? Is he just sticking his tongue out? Like,
I don't know, he's just grabbing, like, passers-by.
Oh, okay, so he's still licking strangers.
Yeah, it works on some level, but, like, now he's just licking his way closer to be, like, swimming with his tongue through a sea of people. Just, like that. And then he grabs Bin Laden and everyone cheers, and he licks his face. But as he licks, he is licking Bin Laden's skin off.
Whoa!
And then it is just...
Why?
And then it is just a skull. And the skull looks at him and says, I am a skeleton! And then it grows...
With vocal cords and everything? Just talking?
Yeah.
No lips?
Yeah, he just says, I am a skeleton! Grows wings and flies into the sun.
Wow, what kind of wings?
Bone wings without any skin on. But they're just like, if you see like a skeleton dragon, it's just like big bony points coming out and they flap and he flies into the sun. And then the sun has a big skull face forever. And the skull, like the sun skull, is just looking at planet Earth, just going,
it's terrifying. Just totally lose at the very last second. It's just doom
it's
and
just laughing. It's just laughing.
evil sun.
And then just before the credits roll, Willem Dafoe looks up and stares directly into the sun. And the subtitle will come up underneath just saying, don't worry kids, it's safe to do this. And he'll look directly into the sun. And then he'll say to his sidekick, who is played by...
Danny DeVito?
No, not Danny DeVito. He's got no place in these Willem Dafoe movies. What the hell are you talking about?
He was in Blood Brothers.
No, it is the guy who plays... Niles from Frasier. David Hyde Pierce. He's got two sidekicks, David Hyde Pierce and iCarly. And he looks at David Hyde Pierce and he says, hey, Chumpo, because that's his name, Detective Chumpo. Give me some bacon foil. It's time I licked the sun skull in the sky. And then the credits roll.
So that's obviously a teaser, or even a cliffhanger, one would say, for the.
Or the taste of crime 2, Sun Kissed.
Now, Jim, I didn't want to say this before, but this premise has actually been done. Isn't that crazy?
What?
Yeah, there's a comic book called Chew about a guy who eats crime scenes, and when he eats them, he sees what crimes happened during whatever he's tasting. He doesn't lick it. He actually eats it. But like how PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale may be like Smash Brothers, but because they're doing it so well, it'll justify its own existence. You justified taking that premise and doing it your own way in such a manner that Chew could never live up to that. You've just unchewed Chew. You outchewed it. You outchewed Chew, Jim.
Has Chew ever like eaten used condoms?
He's eaten some gross stuff and he hates it. And he's like, I really don't want to eat like what looks like the remains of a guy's hand. And they're like, you got to eat it. We have to find out how he got his hand cut off. And he eats it. And I think he just like vomits it up later. Yeah.
That's like the worst premise for a fucking comic.
It's a very popular comic book, dog. Very popular. Image Comics, it's a big time. Todd McFarlane and stuff reads it. It's really good. Yeah. So, Jim, isn't that weird that the weirdest premise you've probably come up with yet was actually, it's already being done right now? Chew.
It's a little disappointing.
Sorry. I hope you don't feel foolish.
For whatever reason, the whole time you were doing that pitch, I just kept imagining Willem Dafoe is really a Lickitung from Pokemon, and like
that would work. It would look more original if Willem Dafoe was painted pink throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, that would be original. Painting pink people just a little bit pinker, like a Pepto-Bismol shade of pink, is so creepy. Yeah. I wonder if we could get the music for Final Fight for that. That's when you were doing the pitch for some reason. I was thinking of the music from the first stage of Final Fight. It's pretty good music. It's like music of the streets, really.
It'd be a fun movie, though.
That would be a great movie.
Willem Dafoe licking Brendan Fraser's face and
the tagline could be, "It's gonna be a tasty adventure."
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
The taste of crime. It's gonna be a tasty adventure.
It is.
Take a lick out of crime.
Yeah.
Oh,
we could bundle when I said at the beginning, we could have the tongue arm of the law is gonna take a lick out of crime in a tasty adventure.
In a tasty adventure.
Yeah. So sit down with your best bud, brackets taste buds.
You won't have to wash your mouth out with soap.
Yeah. You won't have a sour time.
How could you say yeah after what I said? What I said was just, I was trying to be as terrible as I could. And you were like, oh, of course. You're very supportive, Jim. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That was me being a bit of a monkey.
Yeah, you sound like an ape. Gorilla of some kind.
Jonathan Holmes, I'm in romantic love with you. I'd like to watch you poo.
You really wouldn't. I'm really quite revolting, actually.
You're the one that I want. You're the one I want. You're the one that I want. You are the one I want.
That should be our first rap song right there.
Yeah, while we're doing the worms.
Yeah. Oh no. Why do I keep thinking that the rap group isn't going to be me having worms crammed into my ass? I need to not bring up the worms.
You haven't even heard the second video yet.
Let's save that for the next Podtoid.
Yeah. It's got to be questions time now.
Oh, yeah. And don't worry. Don't go thinking we're putting, like, small spiders in your urethra. Just don't think about that.
Oh, that would be rough.
It would be rough. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a rainy Sunday. That'd be a Charleston chew.
That isn't my favorite candy. You're right. That would be a little bit like bad candy, having spiders crawling around inside of your penis. Yeah.
I got your bad candy right here.
What does that mean?
It basically means I'm going to mix up my semen with sugar and give it to you in a small bag.
Reader questions.
Oh yeah. Well, they're not readers; they're listeners. So we got
whatever.
You got that wrong. You got that incorrect. Maybe that is your X-Man superpower, Mr. Incorrect about readers.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Oh, we certainly do. We've had such a fun time, ladies and gentlemen. William Desmond Gafford asks, God of War Ascension, cash in or pathetic cash in?
Whoa.
Gosh, mate.
What makes it? I don't understand. Let's talk about cash-ins real quick. So there's a guy. and he's like, I want to make something, and I think people are gonna like it, and it might make me some money. Is that just a cash in? Just doing something you want to do when you think people want it too?
That kind of rhymed.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I'm already rapping.
That
But
can be a lyric in our rap song.
now we're talking about worms in my anus again. That's not good. But God, I don't see anything about. There's not enough about God of War to say it's a cash in anyway. If it turns out to just like be the God of War 3 engine and game again, except with like a palette swap, then sure, you could call that something done without any passion just to try to exploit the God of War name. But if it's an actual new God of War game, then why would that be a cash-in? That's just continuing a series that people like to make and people like to play, right? Am I missing something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it
Well,
because
cash-in has a specific, like, the idea that you're not doing it out of any kind of love or artistic merit. You are literally dragging something out to make for the pure, like, money motivation.
Sure.
Excuse me.
But is there anything like a Game of the Year edition? Often seems like a cash in.
Yeah, I mean that's like a cash in, or like if you.
But that's not a new game. I mean, this is a new game that they're making. Is there something about the game?
Well, I think maybe the idea that they already concluded God of War's story and people felt it wrapped up nicely, and then it's like, oh, prequel time, which is a very Hollywood kind of.
Sure.
And this is like the third prequel too.
Yeah, it is the third prequel, but maybe it'll be a really good prequel. I hope so. I like the idea of Kratos being back to where he was as a character when there was some sort of moral dilemma going on. They kind of forced a moral dilemma into God of War 3, and it felt a little artificial. So I like the idea of trying to tell a story with that character that's before he just turned into a full-on just murderous bastard. Could be great.
I'm definitely interested in the multiplayer, but at the same time, I know I'm going to get over the multiplayer after a month and move on to, I don't know, Black Ops 2 or Halo 4 or whatever else is out by then.
Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine God of War gameplay having competitive multiplayer that's steep. Yeah.
Competitive multiplayer does not work for third-person action, hack and slashy stuff. I've certainly never seen it work in a way that makes me want to keep playing. Like, I couldn't believe it was in fucking Ninja Gaiden 3. That was unbelievable, and it was exactly what I thought it would be. It was fucking shite. Yeah. It's just
like the main game.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was actually far worse than the main. The main game was just boring, but the actual multiplayer was actively shite. I mean, when you've got a hack and slash game, inevitably it's just two dudes running around, mashing the buttons and hoping one of them comes off better. It doesn't work. I mean, co-op if they'd have done something with co-op, maybe I'd have been more interested. You know, I like co-op in Dynasty Warriors. I like co-op in some other ones. But it's, I don't know. It just seems like it was put in there just as usual, like, to fill this weird marketing obsession with multiplayer, which is...
It feels like a waste of money, like this obsession recently. Like, okay, that's great, your game's going to have multiplayer, but no one's going to touch it after like 2 or 3 months.
But they will buy it for it, though. It's weird.
Like
the thing is, I mean...
multiplayer games.
God of War is a very successful franchise. No one was buying... Well, no one with a brain was buying that and thinking, oh man, this would be really good with the multiplayer. That shit is alright.
It's a bullet point that does cause your game to sell better than if it does not have that bullet point.
Bullshit.
I think it's true.
Bullshit. Otherwise, we'd all still be playing the 2006 version of Shadowrun. Otherwise, Dark Sector would have been successful. Otherwise, we'd all have been talking about Overlord's multiplayer mode. People can give you a list of successful multiplayer games. I can give you an equally big list of multiplayer games that didn't do well, and just as equal a list of single-player games that did pretty fucking well. I don't think it matters. Multiplayer does not guarantee you a successful game. I don't think it does.
I wouldn't go that far, but I think
the same is true if your game is just multiplayer-centric originally, and then they shoehorn a single-player, like Battlefield 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather a game just be what it is. It just saddens me. You know, you've got games like Dead Space, BioShock, Metro 2033. These were fantastic single-player games. Fantastic single-player games, but they've all had these fucking shitty, if you ask me, multiplayer modes put in, and I don't like it. And I think there's been enough, you know, you've got your LA Noirs, your Heavy Rains, your Alan Wakes, they've done damn well. Like, they did well, and Skyrim, of course, I think proved the industry wrong on all sorts of counts. But I just feel like they're ticking these imagined checkboxes, and all of them trying to like be Call of Duty or something, and at the same time finding fucking excuses to put that online pass shit in. Because I would not be surprised if this, equally large obsession with the used game industry wasn't driving a lot of this as well. And just fuck it on all counts.
Yeah. Mass Effect 3's multiplayer is pretty good though. Yay!
I've been hearing that. I've been hearing that actually. Like, I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, they did a good job. If you make every aspect of your game good, then sure, you can put multiplayer in there. But if you are obviously doing it, like Jim said, to tick a box, I'm still holding by my point that I think there are people that will buy a game for full price if it has multiplayer, as opposed to.
I can see that from a consumer standpoint, thinking like, well, if I'm paying $60 for this game, then I'm definitely getting my money's worth. But I mean,
some people do think like that, but they won't think like that
on the other side.
You know who else would buy games like that? Ernest.
Ernest Goes to Camp?
Yes, Ernest goes to GameStop and buys a game for full price because it's got multiplayer in and he thinks that's him getting his money's worth. That's the name of a new film. I'm going to dig Jim Varney's corpse up to do it.
No, he's a hologram.
Yeah, he's a hologram.
Hologram's cool, yeah.
Anyway, let's get off this subject.
Sure.
Because we got questions.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We can't dilly-dally.
If this was the old Podtoid, this question would have got a prize, but since we don't give prizes anymore...
The prize is hearing me say their worthless names.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Only joking.
Of course.
I like a fraction of you. N7 says nobody. Yeah, he says nobody cares about Call of Duty, Hamza. Instead, let's talk about the first thing that runs through your head after thinking of Jonathan's bum, and that question is entirely for you, Hamza. That is true.
Wow.
Just imagining like Holmes naked, shaking his booty, and the worms are all dangling out like Cthulhu's mouth, and they're all just like shaking while he shakes his booty sexily, and a few are dropping out and hitting the floor, and they've got dirt on them.
That's your prize. Holy shit. If you give us like the best question on Podtoid, then you get to have Jonathan Holmes stand over you as you lie on the ground and shit out worms on your face. Live at PAX Prime battle. You can get shit on your face by Jonathan Holmes.
Oh yeah! By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're coming to PAX Prime, it seems like Podtoid Live is a thing.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, because we're not banned from doing panels.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Civilized
Do they know I'm coming? Hopefully they're not mad at me anymore.
Civilized. But we're gonna talk, and we're not gonna throw hamburgers or throw cakes on the ground.
Yeah, we're gonna I actually had this idea literally within 5 minutes of finishing PAX Prime's panel last year.
Yeah.
Podtoid Live. So just sit back and just this shit, but you get to see our frankly hideous faces,
and you get to see our faces like suffer and groan and just queeze as we talk about worms and stuff.
Yeah. And I will sing a romantic song to Hamza and Jonathan, and they will fall in love with me, and we'll get married live on the show.
We could probably have Max and Tara. Wow,
we're gonna have a bucket of bone marrow on the stage.
I just used Max and Tara's name. That's
Titmara.
Titmara.
They'll probably, we could probably get them on stage.
They'll be around, yeah. We'll have all sorts of people saying hello, and also I might do a ritual to try and summon Silent Hill to the auditorium, so that'll be fun.
Summon just the background will change?
The other world and everything, yeah. I'm going to try and... I've been reading through ancient tomes, and I've got a good idea of how to do it. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, so N7, we're going to show your face live at PAX.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And also there'll be a contest where I will piss.
What?
That's just a contest where I will piss.
Didn't we start this talk of our panel being like, we're just going to sit there on stage and talk. It'll be fine. We're not going to do anything like last year. That was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Now we're going to piss.
Well, here's the thing. If you shit on someone's face, we expect them to eat it, so they won't make a mess. And I just went,
Right.
wow,
Don't
I
get
just
in
crossed the
trouble.
line so hard right
No,
there.
you're doing good. No, you're running with the
No, I'm never getting hired
You're,
anywhere.
you're keeping Pax from getting upset about our panel by making sure all the feces is eaten by the audience before the
Next
show.
question, please.
Very good. Thank you, Hamza.
Oh my god.
Oh, there's a lot of people saying like just congratulating us on 200 episodes.
Oh, that's nice.
Thanks for wasting our time.
They wasted our time.
Oh well, Samurai Dino has a nice samurai. I guess it's Samurai Dino. Sorry.
I think it is.
Yeah,
Samurai.
I'm an idiot. He has a very nice, 200th centric question. In honor of the big 200th episode, are there any moments in Podtoid's history that stand out for you? I guess, just a favourite moment.
I don't want to say my favorite moment because I ruined Podtoid for a while.
No, it's all right. You didn't really ruin it.
No, we talked about it when I came back on the third, like the 2 episodes ago, where I ruined someone's life, basically.
You got it.
So many people asked me for a link to that episode, and I just kind of ignored it all. I'm like, no, I don't want to bring this back up. You can find it on your own.
Yeah.
That really isn't my favorite moment. I think the favorite moment was when I came back
Yeah.
as a permanent host 2 shows ago, because I love myself so much. So that's my favorite
that
episode.
recently? Yeah, well,
This is my 3rd episode in a row.
Wow. Huh. Seems like
I think this is my 5th Podtoid altogether, because I was a guest on season 1, and I don't know what season is this. 5? Let's just say this is 5. I was a guest on season 4.
Seasons. Wow.
I'm basing seasons on the main staff, basically.
Right.
I prefer the term generations.
Oh, right. Like Pokemon.
I can sell seasons better than generations.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fine.
Marketing. I don't know.
Well,
Communications director.
Actually, honestly, I think we call this season 5 or 6 on like the About Us page. That Podtoid is back and it's the 5th season.
Oh, really? Huh.
I'm running with whatever Nero said.
I will do whatever he says to. Jim, what's your favorite moment there, Jim?
Those faces at PAX.
I don't think Nero will tell me to do
My
that. But he might.
It's hard. I mean, there's been a lot. Nearly all of it from the new Jenna season of. I put the 2 together. Of Podtoid.
You're like a Japanese ghost.
Yeah, I am a Japanese ghost.
That's being raped.
Oh, that's my new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess, the Voldemort and Emperor Palpatine Opium Den was one of my favourite things. The Pie Guild was just incredible fun. And Muddy Buddies, of course. Hearing Jonathan Holmes describe the idea for the Muddy Buddies movie was...
Oh, thanks, Jim.
Golden.
Yeah, there's a lot of very good Max and Jim moments. That point in Podtoid, I literally just didn't feel a need to talk. It was so entertaining, and I just laughed. It was great. Not that I mind talking; I like talking too. But it takes the edge off. You just have hilarious people on your show.
I also love
all that.
the grave robber story. The idea of you and I becoming 18th century grave robbers.
You've come up with so much stuff, Jim.
Well, it wasn't even the stuff I came up with. It was your trying to make sense of it. It was the moment, because when I suggested we just give up our lives and become grave robbers from the 18th century, it was that moment when you said, "Why would we give up our lives and leave our wives to essentially become married and live in the forest?" Just that idea has stuck with me ever since we did it. Every now and then I'll remember you asking me that. Why are we doing this? Why would we leave our wives? And that was a defining moment of our working relationship.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think my moment of that nature was the time that you said you wanted to just have your rotting corpse in my backyard and call it Pirates Cove. And just have my landlord and my neighbors be like, "Why is there a dead body?" And we're like, "Oh, no, don't touch it. Don't touch it. That's my friend. It's Pirates Cove." And I would just have to have my life be like that. Do you remember when you said that?
I do remember that.
That's when I really understood, yeah.
I think that was the first thing where I came up with this, because ever since then I've been trying to come up with every week, like a new suggestion
For our lives together?
Yeah, for our lives together. The whole dealing with each other's dead bodies, becoming grave robbers, going to
Space
the
raft.
moon.
Yeah, space raft, yeah.
American Gladiators last week. And the
People
rappers.
really like that one.
Yeah.
And the fan art that's being generated by these ideas is just astounding.
Oh,
and
my new desktop is that one of you as a centaur with me on your back and Willem Dafoe coming out the ground. And
I like how like someone made a fan art piece based on last week's whatever premise, and like they tweeted it at all three of us, but I was nowhere near it, nowhere in the picture. So I'm just like, what's up here, listeners? Like, come on.
They're still getting to know you, Hamza.
I want to be in your fan arts.
Well, if someone would like to draw a picture of me and Hamza shoving worms up Jonathan Holmes' arse, and make sure you've got like Hamza elbow deep, just so that he gets pride of place in the picture.
And they're really good artists too.
They're way too talented to be listening to us. That's the thing.
Yeah,
we are listened to by talented and beautiful people.
I know.
It's despicable.
It's really weird.
I feel like a criminal. Like, that should be illegal. Like, this band of ugly, maladjusted, horrible people being listened to by the very best that humanity has to offer.
Yeah. And they don't like do art that makes fun of us. They're like paying tribute to us.
Yeah.
And tell us that they like us and stuff. It's really weird.
It's terrifying. And Sir Toby, of course, doing wonderful photoshops of the Willem Dafoe movies.
Like every week he churns out a completely professional looking badass movie poster based on the stuff that you just kind of you usually know the first couple of words you're going to say, and then the rest you just make up as you go along, it seems like.
Yeah. And in the back of my mind, I'm always just thinking about my reward for that being what Sir Toby makes. And it's a reward I don't deserve. That's the thing.
No. None of us deserve any of this, from what I can tell.
Except
maybe
it.
Hamza. Yeah, I knew Hamza did.
Handy says, how hollow does this milestone feel, seeing as how this is only really like number 40-something for you guys, and half the cast didn't even make it that far? Fuck you. Glaswegian God says, how long do you think you'll continue Podtoid? I don't know, a couple of weeks?
I think as soon as Nero actually listens to one of the episodes that we do now, which will be probably pretty soon, because, I mean, I live with Nero. He's gone on vacation right now, but, like, I'm sure one of these days he's gonna be sitting in the other room. He's gonna hear me talking. He's just gonna be like, "What the fuck did I just make happen here?" And shut us down. Or join us. Who knows?
Yeah, he's more likely.
Knowing Nero. Yeah.
I've never known of Nero. You know Nero, of course, better than I do, as you're still living with him. But in my time with him, I never saw him not be fascinated with something totally weird. Yeah, he never said, that's too weird for me. He was like, wow, show me more. He's always...
Yeah, he embraces the weird.
He does. And that's why we get along so well, I think. Yeah, he's a great guy. Tell him I said hi. I haven't talked to him in a while.
You tell him. I'm not your bitch.
Hopefully I'll be seeing him in, 34 days. Jeez, E3, man. Crazy. Do we have time for more questions then?
Sure. Big Bad Tuan says, Creative Assembly has been working on their next game for more than a year now without letting us know what it is. What do you think it is? I know what it is. They did tell us what it is. It's a fucking Aliens game. It's an Aliens game like set with like Dead Space style gameplay. Which makes total sense since Dead Space takes so much from Aliens.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Creative Assembly, the Total War guys. They're making an Alien game.
Huh. And Sega's going to publish it? Don't they hold the rights to? Huh.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm excited for it because it sounds like they want to try and make a real scary Aliens game. So I'm all for that. Impossible says, please, Jonathan Holmes, you never answered Jim's question from a while back. Is it pedophilia or not if I wrap a placenta around my dick and jerk off?
What? That was I don't remember anyone asking.
I don't remember asking.
No. No, the placenta is just like a disembodied mush, right? It's not a human. It's not shaped like a human baby or any sort of form at all. It's just kind of gross.
A thing that like is connected to their belly buttons. Isn't it?
I love the way you pronounce belly buttons. Placenta is like the yuck there. It's like, oh, someone gave birth and there's just a bunch of extra stuff around. It's just kind of grouped together as the placenta. There's some hard stuff in there. There's some soft stuff.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know that much about babies, Mr. Pedophilia Master there. Obviously, you would know everything.
No, I just, I have friends who
love babies too much.
I have friends who love babies too much, Hamza. That's right.
Is it pedophilia or not if while you're masturbating with the placenta, you are thinking in your head, this touched a baby and that makes it erotic?
Yeah. If you're thinking about babies when masturbating...
I mean, you're not thinking about the baby, like being naked or being sexual, but you're turned on by things that have touched a baby. Is that pedophilia? Like, you don't find the baby sexy, you just find the idea of its DNA being on something sexy. Is that pedophilia, Jonathan Holmes, or not?
That sounds like gray area to me. That's a tough one. If you don't cross over that line into ever imagining a baby while having an erection, then you might be okay. If you're just like weirdly turned on by the idea of birth in general. Some people just want to have sex with pregnant ladies. That's not pedophilia. That's like...
Is that a threesome at that point?
That is not. That's because the baby is not out and about yet. It's just a part of it.
You guys are turning me into a monster. Oh my god.
Yeah. Taken 3
I
episodes.
bursted that out with excitement. I'm
you're
what is wrong with me?
It's a wavelength people get on. Podtoid. Yeah, you're on that wavelength now, Hamza. Thanks. Feels good to have you here.
Criven4437 says in all caps, Hamza, are you gay? I've got to know.
No. God damn it. No, I'm not, internet.
People think I'm gay all the time, Hamza.
I get that a lot, but mostly because it's YouTube. On all the YouTube videos I do for the show sometimes.
Yeah, me too. When Podtoid show first started, there was someone who was like, just get rid of the gay guy. I just don't want to watch gays. And I was like, not gay. They're like, oh, well, then I'll watch your show. And I was like, oh, that wasn't really the best way to handle that. Now I just have homophobic fans. Oh, well.
But no, I liked the ladies. They were quite pleasant around my cock.
Wow, that was a convincing heterosexual confession. I have seen you around ladies though, and they like you and you like them. It's true.
I like you.
Oh yeah.
You like me.
That's not a turn on for the ladies. Jim.
What's up, ladies?
I'll suck your tits and watch you pee.
Oh, Barney.
We're almost ready to close out the show. Special 200 episode.
Oh, yeah.
But one question came up by several people, and it is time to close out the show with Jonathan Holmes. The worst handjob story.
Oh, man.
Finally tell us, what is the worst handjob you've ever had?
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's St. Elsewhere's, but it might have been Hill Street Blues. I mixed those two up. I'll find the link, and I'll sing the song so people can place it themselves. But all right, so I was in my early 20s. I had big hair. I worked at a day program for developmentally disabled adults. I lived in a small apartment. All I had was an air mattress and a small TV and like a GameCube. I had no money. My life was just like a really weird mess. And I wanted to date girls. And somehow I knew this like cartel of foreign au pairs who just came to the United States and didn't know anyone and didn't know any English and just like wanted to be around people. And we all were hanging around with au pairs. And there was this Polish au pair who knew a little bit of English. We went out on a date to Toys R Us and just wandered around Toys R Us because neither of us had any money and like sat around on sleds. And I thought it was a pretty good date. It was going all right. I didn't think she was that into me. She told me like, you are not the kind of man that I like. You are like so boring. I'm like, oh, this isn't boring. But then she just started like making out with me when I dropped her off. I did have a car. I bought a car for like $50. The bottom just like fell out of the car. It was like basically a sled with an engine. Anyway, so we had a make out, at the end of that date. So I thought things were going pretty good. I thought I'd invite her over to my house, which was sort of a house, and make her some chicken. And I wrap chicken in Pillsbury dough and put Swiss cheese on it. It's like the only thing I can make for people. So I made her that, and she was like into it. And there's a little bit of boxed wine, I think. It was a real hot date. And then I had cable, but she didn't want to watch TV. She wanted to put on music. So I put on... she likes soft jazz. It was the only kind of music she liked, like Kenny G and Yanni and stuff like that. So I put it on the soft jazz station. And one thing led to another, and before I knew it, she's giving me like the kind of touch on the member, as it were, which is kind of like grabbing a bottle and just shaking it. You know, she's just shaking my genitalia hard.
Shaking it like a baby.
Yeah, just like, just an aggressive maraca shake. And in the background is a song. It's either from Saint Elsewhere or Hill Street Blues, but it's smooth jazz. And it goes... It's just like the least passionate. It's like going through the motions, guys. We just have to do this in our life, and it feels terrible. The hand job feels awful, but you can at least kind of work yourself up to like thinking, oh, a girl is actually wanting to touch my junk. Maybe I'm a guy who's got sex in his life now. It's a sexy time. But when you have it's just that there's no way either of you can think that any of them, none of us really wanted it to happen. We were both totally miserable. Then I think I just gave her a hand job or something, and then she went home. Well, and then she started to date like her dad.
Wait. Before we get to her dating her dad, wow, her dating her, okay.
Something like a dad.
No. Wait. Did you come?
No, man, not even close.
I'm sorry.
That's gay. You had to ask. Yeah, I guess
that really sounds like the Schindler's List of hand jobs.
If you hear the song, it'll all make sense. I tried to do it into the microphone, but I didn't do it justice. It is the music that they play when you're on your way to hell. It's like, this is your last bit of humanity, but it's not really, it's the end of your life. It's the music.
That's a great movie title, Hand Job to Hell.
That's pretty much what it was. It wasn't that bad of a hand job. I've heard of much worse hand jobs. I've heard of I'm not going to get into that now. It's the end of the show. I've heard of some pretty bad hand jobs. So
well, you're going to have to tell us those now. Not immediately. But at some point.
At some point, yeah. Give them something to wait for episode 300.
Something else to bug us about for weeks.
Sorry, it was supposed to just be an offhand story from months ago, and when it got built up, it probably didn't quite live up to the expectations, but that's all I got.
I thought it was a lovely story.
Oh, thanks, Jim. It's very nice of you. And I guess that's it.
All right.
Yeah. We should probably end it.
Let's do our plugs.
Let's do our plugs.
Yeah, let's end it disappointingly, like how his hand job ended up.
It didn't even end disappointingly. It was just just from start to finish. It was just a passionless, morbid exercise in futility. I guess I'll do my plug first.
Go for it.
Yeah, Talking to Women About Video Games. New episode is up on YouTube and on Destructoid. I hope that you watch it. If you liked it before, maybe you'll like it this time. And if you never liked it before, you might like it more than you did, because it's got Lisanne Pajot, who's the co-director of Indie Game the Movie, in it. And she's really genuine and lovable. And people, this one went up 2 hours before another thing went up on our YouTube channel, so a lot of people missed it. I hope they go back and watch it if they want to see it, because I want the series to continue. If it doesn't get enough views, I definitely won't be able to get that Jessica Nigri episode up there. Up there. If the views just suck, because the WB will be like, that show sucks, we won't let you post it. So watch my show. Yeah, I wrote an article for it too. It's about gamer cred. The episode is about gamer cred, and so is the article, and how I think gamer cred is not such a good idea. It's not a good concept. Leads to bad things. What else am I doing? Am I doing anything else? Oh yeah, Sup Holmes. Sup Holmes this Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with Konjac, the developer of the Iconoclast, and Noitu Love. He's also worked on.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's going to be on. He's really, really shy about it, but I've talked him into it. I don't know him from a hole in the wall, but I just talk to strangers and ask them to do things, and he's like, fine, I'll do it. He also did graphics on some WayForward games. I think he did the graphics, some of the pixel art on Contra 4, which is a really good game. He's a really talented artist, really smart guy, really particular about game design, really opinionated. Should be a really interesting show. So, and the other podcasts for Sup Holmes are up now too. The Mike Z podcast is up. The Jasper Byrne, creator of Lone Survivor, podcast is up on the Libsyn page. So please download them and tell me if you think they're any good. It's a short show. It's only an hour. Just take a little time out of your drive, your tub time. Just listen to it in the tub. It'll be good. Yeah. And I'm going to try to do another Talking to Women about video games. Once you do those, it's really addicting. You just keep wanting to do them. There's really fun to make.
You just keep wanting to do the women's.
I don't have sex with those women. A lot of people like to pretend that it's like a sex thing. But no,
everyone is cracking on that you're gay then.
Well,
silver lining.
That's true. I wouldn't mind if people thought I was gay, but I don't mind when they think I'm straight. I don't like when they think I'm a killer or some deviant monster. Yeah, that brings me down a little bit. But other than that, yeah. So that's all my plugs. Thanks, everybody.
I wish you were gay.
Yeah, I'm not totally ungay. I'm like 99% straight, I'd say.
Ah.
That's all you need.
So I just need to stick my finger in that 1% and widen it up a bit. Is the 1% of you that's gay the arsehole or not? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to Podtoid. I've been your host, Jim Sterling. I've been with Jonathan Holmes and Hamza Aziz, but I have not known them.
You haven't known of them?
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't
in the biblical sense.
Indeed.
As always, you can check us out on Destructo.com. We have stuff going up. I've got a Valley Without Wind review going up at some point this week, probably. You can also see my Jimquisition on escapistmagazine.com. We talked about something this week. Hamza Aziz has, by the time you hear this, has a preview up for...
No,
Loop.
Shut the fuck up. Let me do my own plug. Okay, so by
I was going to ask you about it. You are a rude little man.
So by the time this episode of Podtoid goes up, we will have a preview of Call of Duty Black Ops 2 live. There's going to be a ton of information there. Dale North wrote the preview. It's like the longest preview I've ever seen Dale write. And like, I just want to say really quick that...
hours or something?
I don't think he actually got hands-on with it.
Okay. But there was like 6 hours of info that was...
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a true sequel in every sense. Not like the general, like, traditional Call of Duty. Yeah, let's just improve some things here and there. Like, this is almost like a reinvention in a lot of ways to some aspects of the main single player and some other things. And then the trailer will be up as well, the world premiere trailer, which goes up in like a half hour, actually.
Oh, wow.
As the time we're recording right now. Other than that, go to Destructoid.com, check out the community blogs, check out our forums, check out Destructoid TV. That's Destructoid.tv. That's basically our Twitch channel. And follow me on Twitter, @CTZ.
Oh, speaking of the community, not to cut you off, Hamza, but we started that new community thing that I thought of and then didn't follow through with today.
That's right.
Yeah, there's a new thing we're doing. If you want to get your art exposed on Destructo.com, you can try to make some art. We have I can't remember what the post is called, but it's got Bob Ross as the image. Artist Wanted, that's right.
It's basically like our Bloggers Wanted, where we ask you guys to write articles on certain subjects, and the good articles will actually promote to the front page so all our millions of viewers can read about it. Artist Wanted is basically the same concept, more or less, where you can just draw whatever the theme of the month is, and we collect it at the end of the month and display your artwork like the front page is a refrigerator and we are your moms.
That's right. You can just open it up and eat. Yeah. I can't wait to see what the...
I'd like to open you up and eat you, Jonathan Holmes.
What? What part of me?
Huh?
It's gross.
Think.
Take a wild Thornberry's guess.
Yeah.
The butt?
I'll give you a hint. Oh damn.
I guessed it already. Sorry, guys, I figured it out.
I was gonna say, it's the part of you that smells like worms.
I love the worms thing. You were like in dead silence when Jim was doing the worms initially.
I know, it kind of like
really...
just grew in me. Like you just accepted it basically. Like now I'm all about the worms.
All you have to do is
show
follow the
changes
worms.
people. Oh, that's all you have to do. And our Twitters. They should follow our Twitters.
Well, yeah, at CTZ, as Hamza said for himself. At Tronnots for Jonathan Holmes, all one word, TRONKNOTTS. And myself at Jim Sterling, all one word. You can subscribe to us on iTunes as usual. Please do us some reviews on iTunes if you like. If you are feeling spend happy, you can get our app for Android devices. That's $2 on Amazon MP3. Don't get it anywhere else. That'll give you all the stuff like directly to your device. Otherwise, keep an eye out on Destructoid.com if you're not subscribed, or to your feeds if you are subscribed, for the second part of Podtoid 200, which will be hosted... Thanks! That episode will be hosted by Anthony Birch, and won't suck.
It's really gonna suck now. I didn't realize that.
Tell them all I said hi. I love Anthony. I love Aaron.
I think they all
I love
suck.
Topher. Me and Topher had the best time. Remind Topher of the time that I paid one-armed push-up man to do push-ups for us and smoke a cigarette at the same time. That was so fun. I miss all those guys so much. Tell them I said hi.
Okay. I'll forget. But until then, this motley crew will see you next week for show. And I guess that's it. Goodbye.
Bye.
Whams.